Muted. My bad. Okay. Sorry, just had to get the family out of the apartment. It was a little wild in here this morning. What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Friday, March 18th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. Coming off another winning day. I shouldn't say another like it's just happening every single day, but Wednesday was just a very wonderful 13-2 plus 10.9 unit day. Last week was good. Tuesday did not start out that strong. 4-5, down 1.4 units. But yesterday was 4-2 plus 1.9 units. NHL was a pretty wild ride, and the leans that I'm not going with are starting to hit at a high percentage, and I think I'd like to start firing more shots. In saying that, I thought this card was very difficult, and the only thing I've moved on, or two spots, the Winnipeg Jets, I moved on the money line, and I moved on the under 6.5 in Sharks Avalanche, and was astonished with Kemper's shutout streak that they put a 6.5 out there. Was very surprised by it with the way the Avs have been playing of late. So we'll go over that. 2-1 in NCAA basketball. The 8-game winning streak snapped. Arkansas did not cover. Won by 4. I needed them to win by 5. But it was a great day. It was a great day, and I'm very excited about today. We have Babano joining us. He's going to break down the 6 NHL games with me. Then he's going to break down the 16 NCAA games with me. And then he's going to go off into the sunset. And it's Darryl Rice going to join us. And Darryl Rice going to rock with me for the NBA card, which I haven't put as much time in as I would have liked to, especially coming off the 5-0 day Wednesday. And you guys were bang on the Pistons yesterday. I think I don't know if I was tired at the end of the show or why I wasn't able to see the clarity that you guys had in that spot. And huge shout out for the call of the tournament so far, the great Dennis Garcia on Richmond money line, the giant balls on Mr. Garcia. Shout out to all of you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We got a great group here. We got Dan Kelly says, I forgot to tell you that there's no prize in the pool for first turn when they're knocked out. Sorry, bro. Yes. Kentucky. It was a tough way to finish the night because I was in shape. I felt like in my brackets, I was like, man, I like this, because I got the day started off with Michigan, and but then the Dons also lost, so but losing Kentucky and then switching over from Kansas to Kentucky yesterday, or excuse me, on Wednesday night, blew up my face. So I'm in two pools, 50 a pop, and that money is gone, but I covered that cash with a 2-1 day in NCAA basketball yesterday. But it hurts. It hurts, and it hurts. And of course, my mom is in our Pub Sports Radio pool, and she went with Kentucky, and that's my fault. I apologize, Mom. Sammy Comer, this was my whole plan, Sammy. My whole plan was to bet Loyola after how good they looked in the conference tournament and how bad Ohio State's looked the last couple weeks. And maybe I'm making a mistake. Maybe it's not sharp action. Maybe it's just Buckeye, alma mater. Maybe it's just... but huge bets have been placed on Ohio State. Huge. And I actually thought the public... Well, I imagine that the public would be on Loyola Chicago, but I just couldn't go. Now, maybe this is a mistake. And Dan Kelly talked about it yesterday on the show, saying that a lot of these huge bets is just coming from graduates of the school. So I did not pull the trigger on Loyola Chicago, but that had been the plan all along. But we've got a lot of work to do. And Nuke saying Kentucky smashed a ton of brackets last night. They did. There's Earl Sports Bets. Nice to see Earl. Great timing because we got NHL popping off. Again, we are going to be done NHL in 33 minutes. We'll be done NHL and move on to NCAA basketball in 33 minutes. So every game will be locked in. Sammy Comer in the house. Marshall Hoffman ready. It says Ohio State to the moon. Yeah. And there is Not Flush Allen saying happy Friday, boys and girls. And there's Dennis Garcia saying go Richmond. Sammy B in the house. Great to have Sammy. I hope you can stick around for this giant NBA card. Ryan Kozlowski says I'm laying with Houston -8. Top 10 ranked defensive versus 90. I think Houston's underseeded at 5. UAB wants to score in the 80s. Not today, says Ryan Kozlowski. Shout out to Ryan Kozlowski. Mark Schlingberg says, not a great day yesterday. Got burned on my first 4 NCAA picks, then was gun shy, but then nice bounce back later. Let's go Loyola Chicago first bet of the day. So Loyola Chicago about 3 hours ago was -1, and points bet had moved it to -1.5. Since then, they moved to +1. And I got cold feet. Sammy Comer on Chattanooga here. And serious business ready to go. Mark Schillingberg, Danny Lopez ready to eat. Says Murray was a little sweaty last night. Von Polo in the house. Von Polo says, I hate Iowa. There's Jared TG, Black Thor King in the house, man. I love capping with Black Thor King. Great to see you. And there it is right there. There it is. Ron Crawford on Ohio State. Let me just copy and paste that. And look at Dennis. God, I love the way he caps says, let's start another great day of operation. Fade the Big Ten. Give me Loyola. Give me Yale. All right, so spreadsheet play today is in for Ron Crawford. It is Ohio State. Wow, impressive. Brad Summersell in the house. We got CT Bays. What it do, family? Love capping with you, CT Bays. Mark Schillingberg, my guy, says I got smashed NHL last night. Damn, it was an interesting card. I mean, Hurricanes started off today so bad. I had to pick up the family, and I was driving, listening to the game on the radio, and when Freddie Anderson let that goal in from Mikheyev, I could just imagine how ugly that goal was because I was listening to the radio. I had to use my imagination, and I was like, God damn, Freddie. I stuck up for you. And you fuck me like that? You do me like this? So it was a tough start with the Hurricanes -1, but the Columbus-Washington over 6.5 was easy. And look, the market knew Washington was going to smash Columbus with Korpisalo and net. And I don't know why that scared me. Of course, the market knew. We all knew. And I just felt like it was too juiced. I said the day before, I said, we're all going to, as soon as it comes out, we'll take the over and we'll bet Washington. And then, of course, Washington opened up at -230. And then it came down to -200. The puck line was +120. And I know there's a lot of cappers in the chat that still moved on Washington -1.5. And great work. I should have done that too, but I did catch the over 6.5. I pushed the Leafs team total under 3 at -106. I pushed the Stars -1 at -120. And I cashed Dallas, Montreal over 6 -110. So it was a 2-in-1 day plus a unit. And I was nervous. Gokster had such a great night going into that Sharks game, but I was really nervous about the look on the Sharks. Yes, the Kings are decimated with injuries, but the Sharks just smacked them in the mouth. First in San Jose and then in LA or vice versa. But back-to-back times, it's really hard to think a team's just going to lie down and take that shit, especially a team that's only, 5 points behind the Flames in the division race? They're not going to get there, but I heavy ready to get to work. Okay, THC's risen. We got so much work to do. We have Babano in the house. Danny Lopez screaming out, Babano. Yes, I'm excited. JPZ said, NHL put me back in NHL betting retirement. Damn, Jay. Sammy B says, Colorado going to smash with San Jose on back-to-back. Colorado not playing until Monday. I'm on the under 6.5. But at this kind of juice, I mean, I get it. Look, I get it. Sati says, worst night of the year last night. Damn, says so much for the luck of the Irish on Jets money line. Flames first period -1.5. Big letdown with the Kings last night. Yeah, it was a rough way to start the show. There's DJ Big Boss in the house. Great to see you. Juan Ruiz, Puzzler. I don't have insomnia anymore, but it's a very tough schedule this time of year. So, but I am sleeping now when I get a chance to close my eyes for a few hours, which is great. I don't know if you can tell how relaxed I am now after not a shaky, sweaty mess. Okay, I wish I could give you guys all a shout out individually because you deserve it, and we have no show without this incredible chat. And Isaiah B says too many people are on Loyola. Well, I can't wait to talk all about this with our guy Babano, but that is not the case. Sure, 62% of the tickets are on Loyola, and we imagine that after what we've seen last 3 years. but 23% of the cash is on Loyola. So huge bets have come in on Ohio State. Huge bets. All right, let's get to work. Thank you guys all for joining us. And then let's get Spenny Penny Bombs action here. Let me get Spenny. I love knowing what Spenny is doing. Also, don't forget Razor Sharp Picks horse racing show tonight. I will be on that show. I am live for the LSU game. I'm going to be live for the LSU game with my man Kiprio. So as soon as that is over, I'm going to jump over to the horse racing show and hammer the last few races at Sam Houston. But I'm going to be live betting LSU, Iowa State, and I can't wait to break. I'm going to spend a little bit extra time on that breakdown. Okay, and Dan Kelly says everybody wants to be on Colgate, including me, but the game is in Milwaukee. Since the Red Raiders arrived in Wisconsin, they've been getting the whammy from the locals. Those Wisconsinites are serious. There we go. Oh, and also, talking about Razor Sharp's horse racing show, we have a big live horse racing show at the Retama Horse Track in Texas. We're allowed to shoot there. We'll be shooting there live on not this Sunday, but next Sunday. And we're all going to be there. We're all going to be in the horse book together, hammered, live. Fucking awesome. And that's before our big Triple X comedy show starring Jason Rouse, where I'm going to come out of retirement and host this bad boy. All right, I wish I could talk longer. And there's Ski Profit in the house. Great to see you. Ski says, I don't even remember going to sleep. Well, you are up early as always. Okay, let's get to work and bring on your first guest. We have a ton of work to do, and I should have got him on earlier. But the pride of Hamilton, Ontario, who you will hear freestyling in the Southtown 101 in no time. Please welcome to the show, Ian Cameron in the house. Babano, what happening?
Yeah, rehearsals next week, Jimmy. I'm looking forward to that. We got to make sure the voice is in tune. We got to make sure we've hit all the notes. We got to make sure we don't forget any lyrics to any of these damn songs. And we'll be ready to rock there in San Antonio. And by the way, you keep mentioning these live betting shows you're doing. When you first mentioned it, I thought, geez, you're doing a live betting show with Nick Kyprios? I know he was starting to get into the freaking betting cycle a little bit, but no, it's Kyprios with an I. It's someone totally different.
Yeah, so another rapper. It was a rapper that I was a big fan of growing up, part of Sweatshop Union, and I was a big fan of his growing up. I'm still a big fan of his, but it's not Nick Kyprios, who I do listen to on radio because there's nothing else on. But I do flip to the Buffalo radio station often when he's talking. Let's get to work right now and hammer the National Hockey League. And I can't wait to do this with you. I cherish these Fridays, Babano. Let's get started. We started 7 p.m. Eastern. Philadelphia Flyers 18-30-11, 7-15-5 on the road at the Ottawa Senators, 21-34-5, 11-19-2 at home. We're at the Canadian Tire Center in Ottawa, Ontario. I want to bet Ottawa. But I can't. I just can't do it. I could have got them last night minus 125. I bet 365. Then they were minus 130. They're now minus 140. And look, I get it. This total's at 6.5, juice to the under. I get it. I get why we want to fade Philadelphia after that emotional game last night for Giroux's 1,000th game. And then he doesn't travel with the team because he's going to be traded. And I woke up with like a cold sweat seeing him in the Tampa Bay Lightning jersey. And that's my fear. That's my biggest fear right now, is that he's in a 10. Now, I've got futures on the Lightning, and it will help financially, but do we really want to see them win another cup? Philadelphia power play at 13.8%, penalty killing 75.6%. We're expecting Anton Forsberg to be in net because Gustafson's been so bad. Ottawa power play 18.1%, penalty killing at 80%. Flyers got in second, as I said, a 15th season with Philly. 1,000 games. He's only Bobby Clark and him play 1,000 games, and then he doesn't travel with the team the next day. I mean, that's just, God, leave it to the Flyers to just. Some of these franchises just don't do it right, and this is one of them. Flyers are on an 0-9-2 road slide. They haven't won a road game, Babano, in 2022. Senators coming off their third straight loss, an ugly 4-1 home setback for the Jackets on Wednesday. They outscored 15-7 on this skid. So Drake Batherson's very close, but now Thomas Chabot, fractured hand, he's done for the season. And what a difference he makes to this offense. And then Tim Stutzla didn't practice on Thursday because of a lower body injury. It's unclear if he'll be available in game time. And Slatsy says Jones and Forsberg confirmed. Take it away here, Babano, Flyers, Senators.
Yeah, I am on Ottawa. It's situational handicapping 101, and I'm going to try to bite the hand that fed me last night because I took Philly at the big plus price last night against Nashville. great spot to do it. And look, Flyers have been playing competitive hockey. It's not like this team they're losing a lot of games still, but it's not like they're getting drilled 7-2 every night. They've been competitive. They found some offense. Carter Hart's been good at times, especially at home. Last night, they almost cost Giroux that game in his 1,000th game. I know they wanted to win it badly, but again, he had all kinds of problems with the defense. It's like a fire drill in their own zone half the time, Philly. Just terrible stuff. But the offense rescued that game late with the tying goal and then the game-winning goal for Joel Farabee. So terrific win for the Flyers. Emotional day, emotional night. They bring in Claude Giroux's papa into the dressing room to basically read out the starting lineup card in front of everybody. And then he has a hug with his son in the dressing room before the game. Claude Giroux takes the final lap around the ice surface after the game with his teammates. How do you not have an emotional and physical letdown after a night like that? If you're the Philadelphia Flyers, especially with Claude Giroux not even in the game tonight, the guy that you were celebrating, he's back home in Philly, awaiting an eventual trade that is apparently going to happen, not if, but when now, is when this trade is going to happen. So it obviously adds up for Ottawa. Now, is Ottawa playing great hockey now? No. They haven't. They've had a tough week. But I want to point out the Arizona game, they completely controlled play. They were all over the Arizona defensive zone. They just couldn't score, and everything Arizona shot toward the net against an awful Philip Gustafson went in. That was a tough loss for Ottawa. I thought they deserved a much better fate than that. And even in the Columbus game, after a slow start, they overcame it. They got better in that one. They just couldn't beat the goaltender Merzlikins that night, who played very well. So, yeah, they've been losing, but I think in the last couple games, their play in those losses has been better than the final score would indicate. And like I say, they're the rested team. Philly on the back-to-back with an emotional letdown. Yeah, I'll lay the price here with Ottawa. Minus 130.
I get it.
Yeah, minus 130 bet online looks like the best price right now.
I get it. And I've been losing with them as favorites, and I need Shabbat in the lineup. But I completely get it. Also, smashing these market moves has not returned a positive ROI, which is just nuts. And then when the market moves have gone against me, I've been going over them. I have a positive ROI in NHL. So again, we have 20 minutes though, Babano, 20 minutes before we get into NCAA coverage.
Yes.
Every single NCAA basketball game will be broken down here on the show. So we have 20 minutes for these last 5 games. Let's go. 7 p.m. Eastern, Washington Capitals, 33-18 and 10, 18-7 on the road at the Carolina Hurricanes, 41-13 and 5, 23-4 at PNC Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina. Samsonov, 17-9 and 4, 2.96 goals against average, 0.901, 0.901 save percentage, 3 shutouts. Antti Ranta on the other side, 10-4 and 2, 2.29 goals against average, 917 save percentage, 2 shutouts. Washington, 19.2% power play, 82.7% penalty killing, and also that power play has finally heated up. They're, I believe, 31.1% over their last 7 weeks, but TJ Oshie left Thursday's game with a lower body injury. He left early, and it wasn't Backstrom's return that changed the power play. It was TJ Oshie's return that changed that power play. Very, very, very important note. We cap these Capitals that are stepping up, and I'm happy that they're stepping up. They're a veteran-laden squad, and I enjoy watching them in the playoffs. Both teams are on the second half of back-to-backs, and there's been a big move on the Carolina Hurricanes, and I get it. With Oshie being out and the Hurricanes not playing well last night, and Tony DeAngelo, we were expecting him to return in that Leafs game last night. He was so close to returning, but did not return. So maybe he returns tonight. They opened up minus 138. They're now between minus 155 and 165. Oh, by the way, Strategic Investments, who's such a great capper, I forgot to mention this. He said totals are flying over, which is why we're seeing so many 6.5s. He says not in this game, pound the under, and that's in the Senators Flyers game. And it's a very interesting take on that. But I'm off that spot. But the under is getting bet a little bit there in Flyers and Ottawa. This total at 6 at minus 104 has moved to minus 110 in the Capitals Hurricanes game. So both teams on the second half back-to-backs. Capitals coming after winning their third straight 7-2 at the Jackets last night, 6-0-1 in the month. And it started by beating these Hurricanes 4-0 on March 3rd. Ovechkin has now 38 goals on the year, needs 2 more to tie Gretzky for the most 40 goal seasons in NHL history. Gretzky did it 12 times. Ovechkin's at 11. And the Hurricanes lose 3-2 at Toronto last night. And this is what made me nervous. Jordan Staal took a really ugly spill last night. And Brind'Amour was like, it didn't look good, but he's not on the injury report. Is he going to become on it? Is he going to be on the injury report. When a coach says it didn't look good, it means he knows his player's hurt, but he wasn't on the injury report. Jordan Martinook also got hurt last night. So again, Brendan Moore said it did not look good. A hell of a hockey player, weak vocabulary, not an extensive vocabulary. Tony DeAngelo, as I said, game time decision. So that's where we stand. Take it away here, Babano, Capitals, Hurricanes.
Definitely leaning Carolina, probably in regulation, obviously, at this point. I'd rather have that than the full game money line. I like over the total in this game just because I've been riding Washington a little bit over the total. Now, Oshie being out significant. We know he's obviously a big part of what makes them go offensively. You look at their win-loss record with him and without him, there is a difference. And when he first came back, he kind of struggled those first couple games, but he really got going after that. It just gives them another dimension, another option up front, makes them a lot deeper lineup. And if you don't have TJ Oshie, that becomes a little bit more of an issue for Washington. And of course, now he is on the injury report, lower body injury, day to day. It's unclear, though, if he's going to play tonight. We don't know yet if he's going to be out tonight. It's not sure yet. It's probably going to be a game time decision on him, but at least the potential is there that he's not going to play. Yeah, I'm seeing the same thing about Jordan Staal, is that he got hurt last night. He only played 15 minutes against Toronto as a result because of that injury, but I don't see him on any injury reports. I see him, as looking like he might be still good to go and back in the lineup tonight as of right now. So that's what you've got to think at the moment. We'll see if that is indeed the case. Of course, we're going to have morning skates coming up, but you know what? I will make both of these official because I'm pretty sure I'm going to be on both of these. So let's go ahead and make them official. I'm high volume anyway in all sports. So I'm going to go Carolina in regulation. I'm just going to search for the price. And I'm also going to go over the total. I don't trust either goalie. Ronta's been a little bit better lately. I probably do trust Ronta a little bit more as of late because he's been a little bit better in recent starts. I still don't have much faith in Ilya Samsonov, who's probably going to get the start tonight for the Washington Capitals. I mean, it's really been a rough run for him. He gave up 4 to Edmonton. He gave up 3 to Toronto and got pulled. 4 to the Rangers, 3 to Philadelphia, 4 to Ottawa. You get my point. He's really had a rough run since the early part of February. So I like Carolina in regulation. Looks like minus 106 in regulation at Pinnacle's the best price out there right now on that. And we'll also go with over 6 here. And you can get that currently minus 105 bet online.
I get it. I completely get it. So I'm going to just move on at this point. I feel like I need to know what's going on with Staal and Martinook to a lesser extent. If Stahl's not in the lineup, I do like the over a little more, but I do like him in front of the net on the power play for the Hurricanes. And the weird thing about Samsonov is his home road splits. Mr. Kochster's been talking about that here on the show. North Henderson have been playing caps overs a lot. But
6 straight overs for Washington.
Yeah.
6 straight.
Yeah. And we spoke on that yesterday. I get it. I completely get it. But let's keep rolling. Next up, we have the only bet that I made. I took the Jets last night at plus 110, and right now they're minus 110. So beat that move by 20 cents. That's at Bet365 minus 110. I'm sure we can find a little bit better if anybody wants to move on them. Now, we have Linus Ullmark going up against Connor Hellebuck. At least that's what I have last night. If any of my goalie spots are wrong, please let me know. Ullmark 18-9-2, 2.74 goals against average, 908 save percentage. Hellebuck 21-21-9, 2.99 goals against average, 908 save percentage, 3 shots. He's been a letdown this year. Boston power play 24.7%, penalty killing 81.3%, Winnipeg 21.8%, penalty killing 76.5%. We had a great debate on the hockey game between the Bruins and the Wild. Maybe not a debate, but a lot of the cappers were on the Wild, and I was just afraid to back them because I'd been losing with them. But had I known that Patrice Bergeron was not going to be in the lineup, I would have been a no-brainer and backed it with you guys. He's a very special hockey player, and they need him in the lineup. And now, I think Winnipeg's playing better hockey than Minnesota, so this is an easier decision for me to make. Boston had their 3-game winning streak snapped in a 4-2 loss to Minnesota on Wednesday. 4-time Selke Trophy winner Patrice Bergeron out at least another game. Thomas Nosek was promoted to the top line with Marchand and DeBruskin. He actually played pretty well and won 12 of 16 faceoffs. Pasternak, he needs Bergeron as well. He's held off the score sheet for the 4th time in 6 games. Jets coming off their 2nd straight win, 7-3 at home over the Knights on Tuesday. They're 6-2-1 over the past 9, and Kyle Connor is just a sniper to the highest degree. 38 goals, 72 points. And Blake Wheeler's been stepping up, 5-game point streak. Ron Crawford with you. Spreadsheet play today is Carolina. And Puzzler saying Rodo showing that Swayman is expected. And yeah, I've already got your Ohio State look. Thank you, Ron. Perfect. Thank you, my man, for sharing all this. Let's go to Babano, but first let's just talk about, well, I've sort of explained the market move. There is a 6.5 on the board now at FanDuel, plus 100 to the over. That's only 6.5. It's open at 6. Take it away, Babano.
Yeah, I mean, right now with this one, Boston is off the obviously 4-2 loss to Minnesota, but again, without Bergeron means obviously that's a big piece. Both ends of the ice, a terrific player, offensively, defensively, wins key faceoffs for you. You miss all of that with Patrice Bergeron out. And no offense to Thomas Nosek, who's going to be the number one center, it looks like, with Marchand and DeBrusk, but not quite the same that Patrice Bergeron brings you. Hall, Howla, Pasternak, second line, Frederick, Coyle, Smith. I'll tell you what, I'll be betting Craig Smith to score again. I guarantee you that. Anytime goal scorer. I've been betting that routinely lately. He's in a terrific run right now, scoring, I think, 9 in the last 8 games or something like that. I mean, it's been just a remarkable run for Craig Smith. And, he's playing on the third line and he's still finding the back of the net, pretty much on a game in, game out basis. So I definitely will be on that. As far as the game goes, this is probably a lean, at least for me. Toward Winnipeg and a lean toward the over. I think I like the over a little bit more. Jets are lighting it up now. I mean, they scored 7 against Vegas. They scored 4 in a nice road win against St. Louis. We know that with Hellebuck in net, can we trust them game in and game out to shut you down? Not necessarily. Hellebuck's still kind of fighting it a little bit. He has not been really sharp and on top of his game for about a month now. And that definitely concerns me as well. So I'm actually going to go ahead and make the over official. I'm going to keep Winnipeg in the lean category right now in this game. As far as the over goes, it looks like best price minus 107 with Bet Online.
And you want to move on the over?
Yep.
Over 6 minus 107.
I don't like betting against Boston off a loss. So that's the thing that's holding me back a little bit more on Winnipeg.
I understand completely. In all honesty, I don't really like betting any team in the NHL off a loss with the parity that we have in this league. Let's move on. We have 2 more games before we get into NCAA basketball. Okay, great. So we got through, 3 more games. Okay, 9 p.m. Eastern, Buffalo Sabres 20-32-8, 9-16-4 at the Calgary Flames, 37-16-7, 19-5-5 at home. Scotiabank Saddledome, Calgary, Alberta. Yes, the main thing, sorry about Cheshire Cat and Rob Garvey, and I know that Mr. Gogster called Carolina a smash spot, but I really believed in them in the situation that they were in last night as well. Schallberg, I did not expect him to be so good again. And these young goalies can get hot. But we talk about unit size and bankroll management. So that was my most confident spot on the board, but I've just bet the same that I bet on every other NHL bet, $150, and I went 2-1-2. So I come out with a profit on the night. But yes, I was wrong about Carolina, very wrong. And it made for a very quiet drive home after I picked up the family because I was very upset. All right, let's move on. Buffalo, 19.3% power play, 76.5% penalty killing. Calgary, 23.4% power play, 85.4% penalty killing. Sabres on the second half of back-to-back after having their 2-game winning streak snapped in an ugly 6-1 loss last night at Edmonton. There was talk on the show about, people taking the Sabres team total over and backing the Sabres at this price, and we saw this huge, 80-cent move to the Sabres. But looking back at it, of course, Buffalo was in a dodgy spot after playing so well against Toronto in the outdoor game and the Oilers needing wins so badly. And then once there was that 80-cent move, now the Oilers are probably within a price range that was worth betting, but easy to see things after the fact. It was the opener of a 3-game road trip for Buffalo. Buffalo's won 1 game in the second half of a back-to-back this season. They're 1-6-4. So 4 losses in overtime or a shootout, but 1-6-4. Flames bounced back from their 3-0 loss at Colorado on Sunday by defeating the Devils 6-3 at home on Wednesday. Flames are 17-3-1 in their past 21 games. 15-1-1 in their past 17 home games. And Babano, Dennis Garcia gave out the Flames to win the division at plus 210, and a bunch of us jumped on it. And I think they're up to minus, what he said, 700 or minus 1100. So thank you, Dennis, for that. It's going to help very, very much come the end of the season when I have to send my futures in. Flames picked up Kalle Järnkrok from the Seattle Kraken 2 hours before the game started yesterday. They've already added Toffoli. I like both those pickups. The Flames scored at least 3 goals in 9 of the team's last 10 games. They're averaging 3.47 goals per game, 6th in the NHL. And Mangiapane gets his 30th goal of the year. And shout out to our guy Clint, star of the Die Hard MMA podcast, who was on Mangiapane to score a goal at plus 310, I believe. Take it away here, Babano. This is a huge line and tough to make money off of it. Again, we're just 7 minutes away from NCAA basketball. This total is at 6.5. And let me just go to all markets here. And if you want the Flames on the puck line, it's minus 140 or minus 145. The money line's gone from minus 280 to minus 380, minus 400 at FanDuel. Crazy. Take it away here, Babano. Sabres, Flames.
Yeah, and this one, I'm close to moving toward the over 6.5 here. Close. Certainly, I'm interested in Calgary scoring goals because it's probably going to be Dustin Tokarski in net. And to be honest with you, it could have been 9-1 last night if not for Anderson. Actually made a couple of huge saves, and they still ended up losing 6-1 last night. But the over 6.5 is probably something I'm going to bet here. When you look at it, Tokarski, I don't like him very much in net. He hasn't been good. He hasn't been good for a very long time. He's given up 3-4 regularly. The one start he did not give up that many goals was LA. And I think it was his last start, and he gave up 1 in that game, and they lost 3-0. But it was a kind of a weird spot. It was an early game for LA. I don't think they were really – I saw that game. There were a lot of passes missing, some disjointed play offensively in the offensive zone from LA. It was kind of one of those sleepy environments, and Tokarski played a better game against LA, an early start. Good luck now against Calgary with this offense just rolling on all cylinders right now. And you had Calle Jarnkrok, who, by the way, I think is worth a bet for an anytime goal scorer prop tonight. I actually was cashing a couple of those type of bets with this guy with Seattle before the trade, and you could get plus 400 for him to score a goal, plus 375. And he hit the back of the net, found the back of the net multiple games right before he got dealt. So I think, and especially now, if he's going to make his Flames debut tonight, I think certainly you're going to see him amped up, wanting to play a good game, make a good first impression. I think a goal scorer prop for Jarnkrok's worth a look. And definitely I'm looking over the total in this game. You just got to hope Buffalo can contribute. Where's Darryl Sutter going to go with his goaltending tonight? It's a back-to-back. They're in Vancouver tomorrow night. Do you save Markstrom for that? I would think so. Play his former team. Go with Vladar tonight in net. I think it'll be Dan Vladar. And I think after getting...
Call.
Yeah, I think after getting...
Wait, right? Shouldn't people wait? Wait till Vladar's announced, then you'll get 50 cents better. That's a great call, of course.
And I think that's what I'm going to do with the over, too, is just wait. We'll see if we get Vladar in net. If it is, that's going to make it, I think, a better bet toward over the total. You got to think Buffalo's going to want to try to make amends offensively. Obviously, they got held to 1 goal last night. And before that, Edmonton lost. Let's not forget. They were scoring goals. They were getting contributions from various sources. The Tuck Skinner and Tage Thompson line's been good for them. They have Casey Middlestat back now. There should be some opportunities for them to find the back of the net, especially if they go up against Dan Vladar tonight for Calgary. So very close to moving on the over. I won't make it official now on the show, but very close. And we'll see where the goaltending goes for Calgary.
Let's roll on because we got to move quickly. But I have to say, I saw Darryl Sutter's presser after the 3-0 loss to the Flames, and it almost gave me goosebumps. Like, I got so excited about hopefully seeing a Flames Avalanche series. When he was saying he was talking about the wild card team playing the Avalanche.
You know why he said that? You know why he said that, right? That if any wild card team playing the Avalanche, it's going to be a waste of 8 days, he said. You know, the reason he said that is, and this is coaching, this is like mind games almost. This is trying to get your team to focus and realize, they're at this level, we're still down here. We got to get up to that level. And it is just a warning that, and just planting the seed that it's a waste of 8 days. He's going to hope his players hear that. And it's going to make them, work on their individual game even more. To say that, you know what, we've got to get to another gear. We've got to get to another level. If we think we're going to take down a team like the Colorado Avalanche in a 7-game playoff series, that's all mind games. That's all mental and emotional. He knows damn well what he's doing saying that, Darryl Sutter. This is calculated. This is something to get a response from his team and to get them to another level between now and the Stanley Cup playoffs. And Darryl Sutter's it's very common that he pushes these kind of buttons regularly.
It was extremely I'm so excited about hopefully that series. Puzzler said Ian being brief. Okay, don't worry. I'll keep Ian moving fast. Okay, Ian, 10 p.m. Eastern, Florida Panthers 41-13-6, 15-7-6 on the road. Ducks 27-25-11, 16-11-4 at home. Honda Center, Anaheim, California. I took a lot of heat yesterday when I said I don't want anything to do with the Panthers in Vegas. I could have gotten minus 140. Then at Showtime, they're minus 180. And I was like, look, you do not want to fade a team coming home after a horrible road trip because they step up. And now the Ducks are in this exact same situation. I also said, so by the way, Babano, when I was looking at the Panthers minus 140 the night before the game, so 2 nights ago, I ended up hedging my division bet. I looked at this Panthers schedule over the next little bit, and I took the Lightning to win the Atlantic at plus 300. And then when the Leafs won again with the defensive hockey, I got this fear that Leafs are going to, because Leafs haven't put together that 10-game winning streak that we know that they're capable of. And maybe they'll do that with Shalgren. I mean, that could blow up in my face, but I did move on the Lightning, and I don't want the Panthers here either. I don't want them. This is not a situation where I would want to back them. They open up at minus 230. They're sort of around there now. This total is 6.5. Juice to the under. Hasn't moved very much. Florida power play 23.8%. Penalty killing 79.9%. They do have Bobrovsky ready to go tonight. Night went last night. John Gibson, 17, 18, and 9. He's been such a disappointment this year. 3.05 goals against average, 95 save percentage. Anaheim power play 24.2%, 83% penalty killing, dealing with a ton of injuries, which really hurts this team. Silverberg, Raquel, and then, of course, Getzlaf. Getzlaf would have been moved at the deadline, but not going to now. Panthers are 1-1-1 on this swing, coming off their second loss in 3 games. Open up the trip with a 3-2 shootout loss Sunday to the Kings, and they beat the Sharks 3-2 in overtime. I mean, they're just barely getting by teams. Now, look, this is a very good hockey team. Don't get me wrong. When they're dominant at home, they could go on a huge run in the playoffs. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying right now, I don't want them. Jenkins, look, you have a great hockey team on your hands. And trust yourself and trust your capping. That's what got you here. So, if you want to smash him again, smash again. But it's the exact same situation as yesterday, and it just scares me. Ducks coming off an ugly 0-5 road trip that included 2 overtime, 1 shootout loss, 1 overtime loss. They blew leads against the Islanders and the Rangers. They're 5 points out of a playoff spot. Take it away, Babano. This game makes me extremely uncomfortable. Panthers, Ducks.
It is. This is tricky because, look, I don't want Anaheim. No way. And I know they're off a bad road trip back home, yada, yada, yada. They want to show something. They're not good right now. They're missing key pieces. They miss Ricard Raquel right now at the moment. He's out. Sam Steele's out. Ryan Getzlaf, the captain's out. Maxime Comtois suffered a very unfortunate injury the last game of that trip, knee injury. He may not play. I mean, a lot of missing pieces right now, especially up front. Silverberg's out indefinitely. So Anaheim very depleted up front, and they're struggling. And they have a goalie that has no confidence right now. And I'm talking about John Gibson. No confidence whatsoever. I mean, this guy has suddenly given up 4 goals, it seems, every start now that he makes a net for Anaheim. I might move on the over if John Gibson's in net, but we don't know. Because the one thing Dallas Eakins has been doing a lot lately is interchanging him and Anthony Stolarz. So there's a very good – and Stolarz is one of those guys where he has games where he's really bad, and then he has games where he's terrific. And at least he's given you some games, Anthony Stolarz, where he can be quite good. So this is over only for me if John Gibson's in net. I do trust Florida to score, especially if Gibson's in net. Anaheim against Florida's defense and Bobrovsky on a second of back-to-back, I could see them chipping in. So I do have some interest in the over, but again, I'm going to wait to see if Gibson's confirmed. From a side perspective, look, Florida on the road's been ordinary, and they've been ordinary for a while. Outside of the really good game they played in Pittsburgh, and they did beat down Buffalo on the road, but lately on the road, they've been ordinary, the Florida Panthers. And look on this road trip. They lose to a depleted Kings team. They barely beat San Jose, and I saw that game. They looked average in that game. And last night against a shorthanded, injury-plagued Vegas team, couldn't get the job done. That's not a team I'm laying a price with on the road. So this is not a side I have any interest in either way, either side. I might get there with the over. John Gibson's in.
I love it. Let's break down this last game and move on to college basketball. 10:30 p.m. Eastern, Colorado Avalanche at San Jose Sharks in the SAP Center in San Jose, California. Kemper, 29-8-2, 2.41 goals against average, 923 save percentage, 5 shutouts, and shout out to Joe Sakic. Going to be Joe. He's getting what he wants out of Kemper, and I didn't think he had the right goaltender. Looks like they may. Zach Sawchenko on the other side, very questionable. Colorado power play at 24.1%, penalty killing 77.8%. I'm shocked that they have that kind of penalty killing. Joe's got to do something about that. He's got to pick up a penalty killing specialist. San Jose power play 20%, penalty killing 86.9%. Ron Crawford says under. I was surprised to get a 6.5. Legitimately surprised. I did not expect to get a 6.5. If anybody's been watching the way the Avalanche are playing and the way they play on the
They're
road,
shutting it down with a lead. Yep.
Exactly. And shutting it down, completely shutting it down. And they have no Landeskog, which takes away a lot of their goal scoring ability. Now, they still have a ton. Don't get me wrong. They're a very talented team. But also, Darcy Kemper has a 2-game shutout streak. You don't think these players know about that? You don't think it's on the forefront of their mind that their teammate and warrior between the pipes has a 2-game shutout streak going on? I just think this is going to be. And then you have a Sharks team on the second half of back-to-back after losing 3-0 to the Kings last night. Short shifts, dump it in and get off. Short shifts, you know you're going to get hurt if there's odd man rushes against you because there's a talent advantage on the other side. This screams, even with Sawchenko in net, to an under for me, and I moved on to under 6.5 minus 120. Take it away, Babano.
Yeah, this is interesting. Is that for sure Sawchenko's in net? Because I'm trying to think, why would he be in net here with James Reimer just recently coming back against LA?
Second half of a back-to-back.
Okay, that would explain it. All right, so yeah, you're right. Second half of back-to-back. Okay, for San Jose, that's true. So it probably will be Sawchenko then. That's right. Yeah, I have no argument. I have no argument with the under. Now, I don't bet unders because 9 times out of 10, I bet an under, the game goes over. That's why, and that's been that way for 10 years now, me doing this every day. It has been definitely a problem for me with unders. But the under makes perfect sense here. You've got Colorado. They're going to control the flow of this game. They're the rested team. If they get the lead, we're not seeing them play fire wagon hockey with a lead. We're seeing them, tighten it up, hold the lead. And we're not seeing them necessarily go after that 4th goal or that 5th goal when they have a lead. They're playing really good defense. You mentioned Darcy Kemper is locked in right now. The only way this is really going to get thrown off kilter, this under, is if Sawchenko just goes completely off the rails, and he has a really rough night and that Colorado offense and particularly that power play gets going. But hopefully you can trust the Sharks to try to avoid that. And like I said, Colorado could get a couple goal lead and still be able to hold on to that lead. So I'm not betting the game. And certainly from a side perspective, it's a pass. It's just too big of a price. But anyone liking the under, I can see why you like that total.
Let's review action before we hammer NCAA basketball. Babano is on the Senators at minus 130. Carolina in regulation at minus 106 and the over 6 at minus 105. Ron Crawford's spreadsheet play today is on Carolina. Then we have over 6 at minus 107 for Babano in the Bruins
and Jets. Yep.
I'm on the Jets at plus 110. I bet that last night, tweeted out last night. It's at minus 110 now in my book. Feel good about that, although that hasn't been equating to cash, which makes me want to smash this computer right now. Sabres, Flames, a possible over. If Vladar is expected in net, there's thoughts that that's the reason why this total has gone from 6 to 6.5 is people expect Vladar in goal. Very important angle that I should have thought about when I was capping this. And then Panthers, Ducks, it scares the shit out of me. An angry Panther squad against the Ducks team that's coming. I love backing teams in the Ducks position, but I'm not going to do it. And then under 6.5 in Colorado, San Jose for me.
And we might move on the Florida Anaheim over if Gibson's in that as well.
Sounds good. All right. It is time for more March Madness. And we are on an 8-2 run in the last 48 hours. Had an 8-game winning streak that was snapped with the Arkansas -5 not covering, winning by 4. But confident, and my confidence took me off Loyola. With a situation here where huge bets are coming in on Ohio State, maybe this will blow up my face. My whole plan was to bet Loyola Chicago, and it's gone down a bit. So there are tickets coming in Ohio State. We now have 61,131 tickets brought in. And here on Sports Insights, they'll tell you who has the value advantage at the line that's at. And they think that Ohio State has the 3rd biggest value of any college basketball game on today's card. They have Delaware with the most value. And then Ohio, and then Davidson and Delaware tied with the most value, and then Illinois in 3rd. And I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. 44% now of the tickets are on Ohio State, so public's coming in on Ohio State, but 76% of the cash, and it's been that way for a while. South Region, first round, number 10, Loyola Chicago Ramblers, 25-7 versus number 7, Ohio State Buckeyes, 19-11. We're at PPG Paints Arena in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. As I said, it was -1 if I wanted. Loyola this morning, and it had gone to 1.5 at other books. They're now +1. It's a pick 'em at -110 right now at Bet365. After losing to Northern Iowa 102-96 in overtime to close the regular season, Loyola Chicago did what they do. They stepped up in conference play leading into the tourney. They ran through the Missouri Valley Conference, 66-50 win over Bradley in the quarters. For whatever reason, the Northern Iowa loss was in my head, and I was on Bradley +6. I was a loser. And then they exact revenge on Northern Iowa, 66-43 in the semis. Talk about just a completely different style of basketball. They held Northern Iowa to less points in the entire game than what Northern Iowa put on them in the first half of their final regular season meeting. And then they kept that defending prowess rolling when they defeated Drake 64-58 in the conference finals. Ohio State did not look good down the stretch. They did not look good. They lost 4 or 5 games. It lasted for just one game in the Big Ten Conference, losing to Penn State 71-68 as 5.5-point favorites. And I couldn't do it. Babano, could you do it? Take it away. South Region, first round, Loyola, Ohio State.
Yes, I can do it. Ohio State stinks. All right, simple as that. They're not playing good basketball at all down the stretch. I mean, look at these losses. They've lost to Nebraska. They've lost to Maryland. I mean, just horrible losses. Michigan as favorites, they lose. Penn State, they get bounced quickly in the Big Ten tournament. They've lost to the Sisters of the Poor in the Big Ten. Very appropriate because there's going to be a sister in the house today, Sister Jean, for Loyola Chicago in this game today. Just not very good. They're banged up as well. Michi Johnson, a bench player, questionable, and 2 of their key big men in the front court. Zed Key, ankle injury, may play through it. I think will play through it, but how is he? I mean, is he close to 100%? How about Kyle Young? He's got an illness that's he's battling through as well. Probably going to play. But again, you've got issues right now with this Ohio State team. They're banged up. They got people sick, people hurt. You've got a team not playing well going into this game. And all you've got here is a Loyola Chicago team that's one of the best in the country offensively, in terms of efficiency, defensively, in terms of efficiency, that isn't scared of the big stage. We've seen that years past. They've won multiple NCAA tournament games in recent years. Yeah, give me Loyola Chicago here. They win this game. They're the better of these two teams.
All right, let's lock it in for you. And I am off. And obviously that conference run was impressive, but
you have to worry about EJ Liddell is a player that's good enough to carry a team to victory for Ohio State. There's no question about that. But you don't think Drew Valentine and the Ramblers know that? Keep him in check, and you will be fine, in my opinion.
So it's a pick 'em at Bet365. They're giving a better. The Pinnacle still has Loyola as a slight favorite. I'm going to pull up Circa and get a couple different opportunities for you. And DJ Big Boss says we call her Sexy Jean at the Senior Center. Shout out to DJ Big Boss. We know his game.
Yep.
Like, we know how he does it. All right. Okay, so let's keep rolling here. And Yenny Toon says now I'm staying off Ohio State. Spenny Pennybomb says Big Ten's getting smacked around other than Michigan's win. Well, I could not do it. I'm going to line shop for you on Loyola. So why don't we move on to the next game? Oh, there was some talk about this total. Interested in what your thoughts were on this total. Again, this game pops off in 24 minutes. So we have on the total, we have 51%. Oh, it's just a coin flip. 51% tickets on the under, 52% of cash on the under. So no help there. The total here on the Action Network, I'll pull up a couple different sites to give us the market moves, but the total here has gone from 135.5 down to 133.5. Any feelings there?
Yeah, I think in this situation, Loyola Chicago's not going to push pace. They're one of the slowest paced teams going. Same thing with Ohio State. It's an early start game. You kind of know where I'm going here. I would only look under the total. Again, I don't bet unders because I don't do well with them. But, if I were to bet the total in this game, I would look under that 134.
All right. Let's move on to the next spot. And I was hoping to have action. My leaky palms were hoping to have action, but could not do it. Next up, 12:40.
We do see teams sometimes flip the switch. When they struggle down the stretch and all of a sudden the tournament and it's a chance to wipe the slate clean. Maybe that's Ohio State capable of doing that. But boy, I'm going to need to see it before I can believe it. They've had no success in the tournament recently. Loyola has, and I'm going to rock with the Ramblers.
All right, and I will line shop for you there. Next up, Midwest region, first round. THC's Rizza says, get off the college games. It's his second day of March Madness. He doesn't want us to. And Dan Kelly says, I hope Ohio State wins. After the game, they claim that they're all atheists and God had nothing to do with the win. That's what Dan Kelly's hoping for. Let's move on to the Midwest region, first round. Number 15, Jacksonville State Gamecocks, 21-10 versus the Auburn Tigers, 27-5. We're in Greenville, South Carolina. We have this total opening up at 142.5, and it has dropped down to 138.5 or 139.5 in all markets. Then we have we have Jacksonville State opening up at plus 16.5. That's down to plus 14.5. When we go over to the cash in this spot, 51,850 tickets in. It's fun having all these tickets in for our knowledge here with the market. 56% of the tickets on Auburn, 54% of the cash on Auburn. So that doesn't help us much. But on the total, there's a ton of money on the over, even though this is dropped. 38% of the tickets on the that's wrong. Sorry, excuse me. There's not. That's 85% of the tickets on the over and 70% of the cash on the over. So clearly there are big bets that have come in on the under. That's done now. Jacksonville State lucky to be here. Bellarmine defeated Jacksonville 77-72 in the Atlanta ASUN Conference Tournament on Tuesday. And then that automatic bid in that rule is probably should be changed for teams moving up to Div 1. But regular season champion Jacksonville State, who lost to Jacksonville in the ASUN semis. Auburn was 15-3 in the SEC this year, but lost 67-62 to Texas A&M in the SEC quarters as 9-point favorites. Take it away here, Babano. Jacksonville State, Auburn.
Yeah, I like the over here, and I'm going to make that official in this game. I think Auburn scores at will against Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State is a size mismatch, Auburn rather has a size mismatch in the side. I think the Walker Kessler and a couple of the bigs that they have, that Bruce Pearl has at his disposal, have a size and a height advantage over Jacksonville State, the Gamecock bigs, and that could be a problem. It could be lay up and put back city, even if they miss the initial shot. Right around the rim. And I think you're going to see that here today. But I think Jacksonville State's a team that's very capable of getting hot from long distance. They're a decent three-point shooting team. If there's one problem Auburn's had this year, it's been allowing too many threes. It's been a significant problem at times for Auburn. So I actually lean to the dog a little bit, but I think the over's the better play. And in some of these games, I will have a side in total. I'm just going to have the over here. I think you'll see points. Auburn's probably going to dictate the pace, and obviously they play above average in terms of pace, in terms of tempo. There's a website I use that's very good for college basketball, Shot Quality, and they give you a lot of good numbers in terms of if these teams take these type of shots in every game, what should the actual result have been? What should the percentage of your field goal percentage have been on those shots? What would the final score have been? If you make those shots with some degree of regularity, and apparently according to those metrics, this total is a little bit too low. So I'm going to go with the over here, Jacksonville State, Auburn.
Okay, I'm going to line shop for you on that over. I did get you Loyola at minus 103 available at Circa. That's the best line I can find here. So we'll start there, and then I will line
139 shop. Is probably the best we can get with it right now.
Oh, no, there's 138.5 out there. 138.5
okay.
I've already seen. So I'm just going to look for the best line, best total, and then the juice associated with it. Matty Icy's one at BetMGM. Yeah, there's a few. There's Nilo in the house. And then Dan Kelly says, I would love to hear someone who talk about how much alumni money moves numbers in this tourney. You're right. And Dan, I think a very good example of this will be this Loyola Ohio State game. If Loyola wins and I left money on the table, then I'll be very, very upset. There's Matty Ice in the house. Great to see you, Matty, my guy. Let's move on to
the equivalent of my taint play yesterday, Matty. The equivalent for me was San Diego State. So, yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Oh, that was a tough one. That was a tough one. All right, let's get to work. Next spot on the board, staying in the West region, first round, number 14 seed Montana State Bobcats, 27-7. Versus the number 3 seed Texas Tech Red Raiders, 25-9. We're in San Diego, California. Montana State comes in off their 6th straight win, an 87-66 beatdown of North Colorado in the Big Sky Championships as 4.5-point favorites. Montana State opened up at 15.5-point dogs. There is a 14.5 at DraftKings. There's 15 and 15.5. This total's gone from 134 to 132.5. Also, the only bet I've made in college basketball with this run, whenever you start putting streaking and putting wins together, you kind of tighten up and bet smarter. And the only thing I've done is I'm on North Carolina tomorrow plus 5.5. That's it. And in all my brackets, I have North Carolina to beat Baylor, but obviously that could blow up my face. But let's keep moving here. They shot 51.9% from the field, Montana State, and 55.6% from three in that easy win over North Colorado. And we have them sitting here at 51% of the tickets on Montana State and 85% of the cash. 48,357 tickets. Wow. And then you have 54% of tickets on the under and 93% of cash on the under. And the market has moved to the under. Good is on Montana State at halftime. Ron Crawford is on Montana State. Pierre Suartas, who's going to be hanging with us in San Antonio, coming down from Medellin. Babano. Coming down from Medellin, our guy.
Wow.
Coming down. He's
awesome.
On the under here. Texas Tech destroyed Iowa State 72-41 in the Big 12 quarters. Then just got by Oklahoma 56-55 before succumbing to Kansas 74-65 in the Big 12 finals. Take it away here. Montana State, Texas Tech.
I lean Bobcats too. I mean, and I like Texas Tech a lot, and I've backed them quite a bit this year. But the more I look at their play away from Lubbock, it's up and down, I guess you could say a little bit. Montana State, I like what Danny Sprinkle's done with that team. One of my favorite names in all of head coaching in college basketball. But no, this Montana State team, they've got a good inside-outside balance to them, which I think is good. It's a situation where I think you've got a team that is able to basically, control the flow and get some good looks, good open shots. Now, they haven't faced many defenses like Texas Tech. There's no question. And that's going to be a challenge for them. But, you really start to look at the way Danny Sprinkle's taken this Montana State team. They got to the championship game last year and lost. They got over the hump this year. Bello is going to be one guy to look out for. Jabril Bello here for Montana State. He's a great player. Xavier Bishop, Mohammed. They've got a really nice core group there that I think, they're going to pose a little bit of challenge here for even a very good Texas Tech defense. And the one thing about Texas Tech is, their offense goes into droughts. And when you're laying 15 and you're a defensive-minded team, you don't necessarily push pace anyway. Does your mindset, if you're Mark Adams and the Red Raiders here, just become, let's get out of here with the win and move on? And if I'm going to bet some of these bigger underdogs, I want teams that can score more than the teams that have to rely on defense and can't put the biscuit in the basket. If I'm going to bet a big underdog, what if you're down 18? Defense isn't going to make you put points on the board. I want those teams that have good offensive continuity that can score for me if they're down by 17 in the last 2 minutes, and they can find my way to a point spread cover with that team because they're offensively capable enough to get the job done. I think Montana State is. So I'm going to lean here toward Montana State. I'm going to actually make them official. I'm going to make them official. Montana State here, plus the points.
Montana State plus the points. What is your, it'd be, you'd love to have a Dan Kelly-like database for this, but when a team comes in to the tournament after shooting the lights out in their conference final and winning their conference final, is that something that gives you more confidence with them in the first game of the tourney, or is that something that makes you nervous that it's not all good? Hitting 55.6% from three is not going to happen here.
It always is a little of a concern. This is more for Texas Tech. Their play away from home, they haven't always gone very well offensively away from Lubbock. That becomes the issue for me, trusting Texas Tech to lay this kind of number. I think offensively, they still have their droughts. They still have their struggles. And they've got a team that's capable. Don't get me wrong with Terrence Shannon and Kevin McCullough and company. They can be solid offensively. But at the same time, they also lost a game to Oklahoma State, who obviously had a very rough year, postseason ban, and they only scored 51 points in that game. That's just one of many examples where Texas Tech offensively can sometimes go on a hole. So, yeah, the concerns are there for Montana State. Shooting regression against a much better defense here could be an issue. But at the same time, and that's why, to Pierre Cuertas's point in the chat, the under might be the play here. Because I think, Texas Tech is, not going to push pace. They can probably do enough to give Montana State's offense fits. But to me, I'm going to dare Texas Tech offensively to be fluid enough to cover 15 against a pretty solid group, and I'm not sure they will.
Plus 15 at minus 109. That is available at Circa, and also the 138.5 in the Jacksonville State Auburn game for you. Also available at minus 109 at Circa. So we will keep rolling. Fanatical Jim says the A10 always underrated. They should have got 4 teams instead of the MWC, says Bozos, says our guy, Fanatical Jim. Okay, let's move on. Next up, we go to the East region, 2 p.m. Eastern, first round. And we've already heard from Dennis Garcia that he is fading Big Ten teams, which means the Yale Bulldogs is on Dennis Garcia's card, and we all watched him cash Richmond money line yesterday. So we're always going to be hyper vigilant on whenever Dennis Garcia is on. So Yale Bulldogs 1911 versus Purdue Boilermakers 27-7. We're in Pfizer form in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We take a look first at the market move. We have Yale opening up at plus 16. Now we have 16.5 on the board. This total opened up at 144. There's a couple books with a hook on this. And the taint play of the day is in. The taint play of the day is in. And it is UAB plus 8.5. Let me just pop that over the UAB game, which we will be talking about here shortly. Come on. There we go. That's at 9:20 p.m. So we will discuss your look there in a little bit. Matty Ice, thank you for sharing it with us. And CT Bays also on Yale plus 16.5. Well, Blackthorn King says Yale, Purdue under. Let's get back to this Yale, Purdue spot. And here we go. So from a cash perspective here, we have just under 50,000 tickets in, and it's 50-50 on the ticket count, but 74% of cash on Yale. Wow. From a total perspective, 61% of tickets on the over, 61% of tickets on the over, and 81% of cash on the over. Yale defeated Penn 67-61 in the Ivy League semis before defeating Princeton in a 66-64 nail-biter to win the Ivy League Conference Championships. Purdue defeated Penn State 69-61 in the Big Ten quarters, then beat Michigan State in the Big Ten semis before losing to Iowa 75-66 in the conference finals. Take it away here, Babano. Yale, Purdue.
Yeah, I like over the total here, 144.5. Yale's going to play up tempo. That's the way they've done it all year. And actually, in terms of their numbers in the country, 89th in the country in adjusted tempo. So they're going to play fast. I don't know if that's a good thing against Purdue, but I do think they can cause some troubles along the perimeter. Look, Yale does run some solid offense. That's what you get with a lot of these Ivy League teams. They can run some pretty solid offense. They have good sets. They have good cohesion. You know, they share the basketball. They look for a good shot. They give up a good shot to get a better shot. That's the kind of offense that can have success against Purdue. I'm still not totally sold on this defense at Purdue. We've seen this Boilermaker D look pretty woeful at times. And, you know, you've got a disciplined team like Yale coming in here, running their offense. That could be enough for Yale to be able to contribute offensively. But here's the problem for Yale. It's going to be the other end of the floor defensively. They have nobody on the block, nobody in the paint, size-wise, athleticism-wise, anything to handle Zach Edey. Nothing at all. He's going to be able to go off in this game. They're going to get a lot of their misses around the rim. They're going to get absolutely crushed inside Yale defensively by Purdue. They're going to have no answers for Edey. I don't think so at all. He has just got a towering mammoth mismatch on his hands in this game against Yale. So this is going to be easy bucket city around the rim, in my opinion, for Purdue. So I think Purdue scores easily. And also, you know, even if they do kick it out, they're going to get wide open because Yale's going to have to try to crowd the paint. They need all the help they can get. And then Purdue can kick it out to obviously Ivy, Stefanovic, and a lot of those sharpshooters from the outside. And if they get wide open looks, they're capable of canning them. I think Purdue has offensive advantages. I think Yale can do enough offensively against a still somewhat erratic, up and down, inconsistent, porous at times Purdue defense. I think we get over that total.
And we can get you a 144. There you go, a 144 at minus 105 at Pinnacle. Babano's going over Yale and Purdue over. And exciting news. This just in. None other than Jose Buquet one hole, who has been very successful in this show's history as we track everybody's plays, has a say hey play of the day. And he did go out last night for St. Patrick's Day. So, you know, he's a young guy. Who cares?
That makes one of us.
Yeah, I didn't go out either. Please welcome to the show, star of the Say Hey play of the day, Jose Bouquet. Jose, how are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing better than Helga,
Yeah.
and her friends actually. But I'm doing all right. Doing all right. A little tired, but I'll get this in and out quickly. Porter Moser is not at Loyola Chicago anymore. I think Ohio State beats Loyola Chicago. I'm taking the money line minus 105, and I think that the hype train's getting a little too real for Loyola. So give me I think I was going to call them the Ramblers, but no, we're taking the Buckeyes. Minus 105 money line. Bye bye.
Jose is on
There you go.
Ohio State minus 105 after clearly passing out some sort of knockout drug to all of his girlfriend and her friends and enjoying everything. Ohio State minus 105 for him. Let's move on. Next up for us, we have the South Region first round. Number 15 seed Delaware Blue Hens 22-12 versus number 2 Villanova Wildcats 26-7. We're at PPG Paints Arena, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. R2D2 Finland in the house says, "What up, lowbaggers?" And we all know, anyone who's been on this show since in its entirety and followed us knows what R2D2 does during the European hockey season. Says Finnish hockey Liga Saipa at home versus Jukurit third period. Second, so Jukurit will not lose 3 in a row. So he's taking Jukurit minus 1.5 at plus 108. Jukurit minus 1.5 at plus 108 from R2D2 Finland. Thank you for sharing your hard work with us. And his ROI is ludicrous on this show. So keep an eye on when R2D2 Finland comes in. All right, Delaware, Villanova. So let's break this down here. Move over to the market. Here we have Delaware plus 16 down to 15 or 15.5. Actually, there's only a few 15s on the board. This total opening up at 134 has shot up to 135.5, and there is a 136.5 over at Caesars. And from a cash perspective here, we have, where is a Nova here? We have a Delaware, as I said off the top of the show, has been giving the highest value on Sports Insights. Then that again is tied with Davidson, Delaware and Davidson. Delaware with 46,100 tickets, and 46% of the tickets, 77% of the cash is in on Delaware. And then you have 64% of the tickets on the over, but just 9% of the cash. Big bets have come in on this under. After finishing just 10-8 in conference play, and there was a lot expected of Delaware this year, and they did nothing in conference play. They ran through the Colonial Conference Tournament with double-digit wins over Drexel and Towson before defeating UNC Wilmington 59-55 in the conference final. Villanova was tested mightily in the Big East Tournament. This team can win tight games, and they're impressive. Beats out St. John's 66-65, beat UConn 63-60, and then defeated Creighton 54-48 in the final. Take it away, Babano, South Region, first round, Delaware, Villanova.
Yeah, I like Delaware. I'm going to make that official, plus the points here. Villanova in the tournament, I find laying these big spreads, they've been hit or miss. And I like Jay Wright. I like, obviously every year we know this team's capable of making a run in the tournament, but I'm never comfortable laying this many points with them, especially in the NCAA tournament. And Delaware's got what I like in a big underdog, good guard play. Jameer Nelson Jr. has been outstanding. Obviously the son of Jameer Nelson from the Magic way back in the day. But obviously he's been great, and he was terrific in the CAA tournament. They got Allen. They've got some size down low. They got some length and athleticism, too, to really, I think, pester Villanova a little bit along the perimeter as well. Like, get into Colin Gillespie's chest here and get into his face and make it difficult on him. And that's going to be the key. And don't let him, run that offense to the level he prefers here for this Wildcats team. I think it's going to be a little bit of a challenge that they can throw at them. And, Delaware is one of those teams. I think the CAA, a conference that I think is a little bit better than some people think. And Villanova, to me, when you look at their overall body of work, laying big numbers in this kind of range, I have my doubts here. So I think Delaware, there's enough to like here with the Blue Hens to keep this game at least more competitive than 15 points here. And what I like, too, is, again, down the stretch, offensively, they were great. And we have a pretty solid free throw shooting team. Now, Villanova is as well, but Delaware shoots almost 75% from the free throw line. So that's got the potential definitely to keep them in games. And again, when you look at Villanova with the double-digit favorite tag this year, the results have been spotty at best. laying big numbers. Howard early in the season, they didn't cover his double-digit chalk. They were 13.5 against Marquette. They lost. Georgetown, 13.5, didn't cover. St. John's, 13.5, didn't cover. 19 against Georgetown, they won by 8. 10.5 against Providence, they won by 2. This Villanova team's had trouble laying big double-digit points lately, and I think Delaware can stay inside this number.
Well, I have this great opportunity from a capping perspective, hearing the experts that are on the show and the experts that are in the chat and breaking it all down. And at this point, I find Yale and Delaware the most appealing, and Delaware being the most appealing from a listening and if it correlates with your own thoughts perspective. By the way, Charles Barkley is on Ohio State. So rip up your tickets. You're on the Buckeyes.
That makes me feel better, actually. Yeah,
yeah, for sure. I love Charles, man. But losing gambler. Okay, let's keep rolling. 3:10 p.m. Eastern. We move on to the Midwest region first round. The number 10 seed Miami Hurricanes 23-10 versus number 7 seed USC Trojans 26-7 on the year. Wellness Arena in Greenville, South Carolina. We have a market here. Let's pull this up here. Miami opening up at +2. There's a 1.5 at BetMGM. There's a 2.5 at FanDuel. So this market is, available at different prices. This total opened up at 142. We see 139.5s and 139s. Dennis Garcia says, I will take USC at some point. DJ Big Boss says, I like USC. Let's go over to the cash in this spot. We have 44,625 tickets in. Of the teams that Sports Insight says has value right now, USC is one of them. Probably the 5th highest value stated by this site. It's 50-50 on the tickets, but 64% of the cash is on the Hurricanes. And then from a total perspective, 56% of tickets on the under, but 91% of cash on the under. Matty I says Miami getting points, being very profitable this year. Dabby Cab says can't really talk driving, but in case anyone want to know, he's on Miami +106 first half. Michigan State under minus 11.5. I don't know what that is. Money line -115. Thank you. Michigan State -115 first half. LSU -4 full game is what he's on today. Thank you. I can't wait to talk about that LSU game, as I will be live betting it. So I want to know what everybody is doing there. Let me just push this down here. Sorry, copy and paste Dabby Cabs action. Okay, sorry. Let's get back to this spot here. Big game, Miami, USC, huge schools with huge followings. After just barely squeaking by Boston College in overtime of the ACC quarters, Miami gave Duke all they could handle in the semis, losing 80-76. USC finished the season losing 3 of 4. After defeating Washington in the Pac-12 quarters, 65-61, they fell to UCLA, 69-59 in the semis. They're losing to UCLA twice in the last week and a half or so. Take it away here, Babano, Midwest region, first round, Miami, USC.
Yeah, it's a really a good matchup. I've liked Miami all year. I lean Miami today +2.5, but their defense, USC does have a much better defense. The one thing with Miami is this is not the same Jim Larrañaga defense. They have won a lot of games by outscoring teams this year, and they have actually one of the best. It's unfortunate for Miami because they've got one of their best offensive teams they've ever had under Jim Larrañaga. This is a team that can score. They've got a trio of terrific guards who have had outstanding seasons for them. Isaiah Wong, Charlie Moore, Cameron McGusty. They're all terrific scorers. They've all done a great job offensively for this team. And I think they could have some success against USC's defense. USC, remember, got scorched by Arizona, who, they've got that kind of perimeter play that obviously what the team can throw at you here in terms of Miami. They've got that kind of perimeter play. So that's going to be maybe a challenge for USC. But at the same time, I don't know if Miami can handle Mobley inside. I mean, Isaiah Mobley is going to be a really, really big challenge for Miami. They aren't deep in the front court. They have one really good big man. And if he gets in foul trouble against Mobley, which I think is a very real possibility, then they're just going to absolutely eat inside and feast the Trojans. So I don't think it's a great matchup for Miami. They've been good to me all year. I'd still lean Miami, but right now I'm probably not going to end up pulling the trigger.
Ryan Scahill says best bet of the day is Miami. Jala Logistics says, please explain how you can go with USC when Miami competes with Duke and the ACC. Michael Irvelina says, and Michael Irvelina, California Capper, LA Capper, says USC has been breaking down and one of the worst free throw teams. If it's close, Miami wins on that alone. And Ryan Kozlowski says USC plays with Zona and UCLA, who are better than Duke. Wow, this is fun. This is fun. Robert Franklin's on Miami plus the points. Says, I can't trust USC. I mean, they went to OT to beat Oregon State. Oof. Very, very, very exciting. Rodney Barton says Miami's coach took George Mason to the Final Four. In all my brackets, I have the Hurricanes to take out the Trojans. But I did not have the balls to make that a bet here. And after this breakdown, I don't know if I do now. And Babano is off this spot.
No, in all honesty, I'll probably bet it small. But do I want to make it an official play right now? No.
All right, let's move on to 4:15 p.m. Eastern, the West Region first round. Number 11 Notre Dame Fighting Irish, 23-10 versus number 6 Alabama Crimson Tide, 19-13. We're in San Diego, California. Connor Mack said on our show on Wednesday, he said whoever won that Notre Dame Rutgers game, he was betting against Alabama and their weak defense. Alabama and their weak defense. Let's break this down. After losing I just pull up the market here. We go. Where is this? Okay, we have Notre Dame opening up at +4. Now there's 4.5s on the board. This total opening up at 152, and it's climbing. 153, 153.5. From the cash side of things, we have 36,139 tickets in. Just 28% of the tickets on Notre Dame, but 48% of the cash. Then we have 57% of the tickets on the over, but we don't have a cash line on that at this point. After losing to Georgia Tech 87-80 in the ACC quarters, Notre Dame outlasted Rutgers in double overtime 89-87 in the 11-seed playing game to get this opportunity against Alabama. Alabama comes in as losers of 3 straight. Their SEC tournament ended after one game, an 82-76 loss to Vanderbilt when Alabama was 5.5-point favorites. They turned the ball over 18 times. They shot 35.8% from the field. They shot 23.5% from 3. Maybe an indicator on whether a team can turn on the switch or flip the switch, as we were discussing with Ohio State, is if Ohio State does it against Loyola Chicago, because Alabama is in a similar spot. Take it away here, Babano. Notre Dame, Alabama.
Yeah, for me, there's not much to say in this game. And I know, for time purposes, I'm going to keep this brief. This is the one game today for sure I have absolutely zero opinion on as far as I'm concerned. I think it's a huge situational advantage for Alabama. With Notre Dame off the overtime game against Rutgers the other night, having to travel and a short turnaround like this, how much gas is going to be in the tank for the Fighting Irish? But am I laying points with Alabama now? No. I need to see evidence of this team finding it and flipping the switch. And maybe they do, but not with my money laying 4 points. And I don't want Notre Dame either. So pass for me, Jimmy.
We have a pass here with Notre Dame. I'm thinking of getting to the window with Notre Dame. By the way, Razor Sharp Picks just locked in the Auburn under 139.5 for $200. Don't forget about Razor Sharp's big horse racing show. They're going to be live betting college basketball as it goes, and I'm going to get on as soon as I can, which will probably be about 10 p.m. So that I can hammer Sam Houston and hammer this bottle of Kraken that has been calling my name for some time. Brian Warner says Notre Dame points, Notre Dame first half, Notre Dame money line. Alabama doesn't impress me at all. Notre Dame has the ball running. Danny Kelly says, I'd like to take Notre Dame, but such a similar spot as Indiana yesterday. Notre Dame off OT and flying all the way across the country. Yeah. Sammy B says, "What
That's
time does the NBA?"
Look what happened in Indiana. Yep.
Yeah. That could get me. That could have me pausing. NBA capping starts in 29 minutes at 9:50 a.m. Pacific, 12:50 p.m. Eastern in 29 minutes. And Jeff Rishitsky talking again about the USC poor free throw shooters as well. Okay. So let's just go back to this Notre Dame spot one more time. We often have teams that cash that play in spot and carry the momentum. And we have a Notre Dame team that didn't have a lot of, I know that the ACC conference championships runs right into the tournament, which makes it a little taxing on some of these teams. But don't you think the fact that they were knocked out early in the quarters by Georgia Tech, maybe they'll have legs here and maybe they'll be able to carry that over? Or do you think, or you just, is the situation that happened to Indiana so prevalent that you don't want anything to do with Notre Dame?
Well, St. Mary's is a whole hell of a lot better in terms of current form right now than Alabama. Okay, that's the one big difference. I think St. Mary's is a very good opponent right now. And, I got totally changed around my opinion. I thought St. Mary's kind of beatable and not as good as maybe their record. But then I saw the way they played against Gonzaga late in the season and the way they played even in the WCC tournament. And that's a very good St. Mary's team. And I can't say anything very good right now about Alabama. Right now, they just haven't been playing well. So I think definitely, in my opinion, they're bad situations scheduling wise for both Indiana and Notre Dame. But I think Notre Dame's got more of a puncher's chance against a struggling Alabama team than maybe Indiana had yesterday against a very tough, hard-nosed St. Mary's team. Very good defensively, slow you down, frustrate you in the half court. First of all, Alabama doesn't play that style. They run up and down. And second of all, their defense has been nowhere to be found down the stretch. So there are ways for Notre Dame to get this done today.
Oh, man. Okay. I was expecting Notre Dame to be on my card, and I've got a little bit of cold feet. So, okay, let's keep rolling. We got lots of games to get through here, and we have 26 minutes left to do it. We move up to a fascinating one, 4:30 p.m. Eastern, East Region, first round, number 11 seed Virginia Tech Hokies, 23-12 versus number 6 Texas Longhorns, 21-11. We're back in Milwaukee, Wisconsin for this one. We have Virginia Tech opening up as 2-point dogs. Now we have a 1.5. The first one is on the board at FanDuel. So market moving towards Virginia Tech, which was expected, and I'm surprised that it is at 1.5. And I mean, I thought it was 1 across the board. At least it had been for a while. I just want to see if Bet365 has done that same thing. Yeah, Virginia Tech 1.5 point dogs there. Okay. This total opening up at 126, now 123.5 and 123. A lot of parallels between Virginia Tech and Oregon State of last year. And obviously that's appealing. 41,699 tickets in, and Sports Insights says Texas has the value. 71% of the tickets on Virginia Tech and 92% of the cash. That's a lot of people on the Hokies. 82% of the tickets on the over, but just 36% of the cash. So big bets have come in on the under, pushing it there. Virginia Tech got hot at the right time. Won 4 straight en route to their first ever ACC conference title. Beat Clemson 76-75 in overtime. Notre Dame 87-80. North Carolina 72-59. Then took out Duke 82-67 in the final. Texas has lost 3 straight heading into the tournament. Seems like we've been telling this story a couple times here on this show. They were last seen a 65-60 loss to TCU in the Big 12 Conference Tournament as 5.5 point favorites. Matty Ice says Virginia Tech is on my card, and Sammy Comer says Texas. CT Bay says the Hokies. So does THC's Rizla. So is Robert Franklin. So is Pierre Suartas. Take it away, Babano, Virginia, Texas.
This is a great game. It's not what I'm betting, but it's a great game. And Virginia Tech had clashed a couple of times with Virginia Tech. I actually pretty much was backing them game after game in the ACC tournament because I figured they'd have to probably win the ACC tournament or come damn close if they were going to be in the NCAA tournament. And sure enough, they ran the table and they beat Duke in the ACC tournament championship outright. And I took them in that game as well. But these are always tricky with these teams that, win the conference tournament, turning around. Texas, we know Chris Beard's taken his teams deep into the tournament before with Texas Tech. Can he do it now with Texas? Virginia Tech was good down the stretch. Current form, they look better than Texas. But I wonder if the strength for Texas's defense, they can clamp down on Virginia Tech and do a pretty good job there. I worry about the ability to score for Virginia Tech consistently against that length and that defense of Texas. That's what concerns me a little bit here for the Hokies. But at the same time, I'm not ready to back Texas. They didn't exactly play sparkling basketball down the stretch, but it's hard to step in front of Chris Beard in a pick 'em price range. But at the same time, don't sell Mike Young short. We saw Wofford took them to the tournament years ago. He's a very good coach. Great game to watch. I probably might back whoever wins this game, Jimmy, in the next game on Sunday Whoever wins between these two teams, I might back them plus the points against their next opponent. So, but for me today with these two teams, I'm going to stay off.
It sounds like a better place to be right now than expecting Virginia Tech to provide the magic that Oregon State did last year. Big Ragu says first ACC championship, 43 years uncharted waters here. No Something says, what's the over-under on Babano singing a tune on the show? We're really locked in and focused right now, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure you're going to get one. You might have to come to San Antonio for that.
Hey, if I start singing now, I'll have no material left for San Antonio. So, hold your horses.
I've drank with you. I know that you've got plenty in the bank. 6:50 p.m. Eastern, South Region, first round. Number 13 seed Chattanooga Mocs. We've already heard from a lot of strong cappers in the chat that they trust this Mocs squad. Verse number 4, Illinois fighting Illinois, 22-9, PPG Arena in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We have Chattanooga opening up as 8.5-point dogs. That's moved to 8, and points bets moved at 7.5. This total opening up at 138 is down to 135.5. There are 136s on the board. When we go over to the cash flow in this spot, what the hell is it? I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. I can't find it here. So I don't think it's on this board for some reason. So let's not sit here, hum and haw. Let's just move on with the breakdown. Chattanooga finished the season with 5 straight wins, 3 of them coming in the Southern Conference Tournament. They won 71-66 over Citadel in the corners before easily handling Wofford 79-56. And they finished off the job in a very tight 64-63 overtime win against Furman. And we all watched the clip over and over again. How could you not? I watched it maybe 20 times. Jean-Baptiste hit that 3, and that's the magic of sports, not just college basketball. The question is, do they carry it over against an Illinois squad that lost shockingly to Indiana in the quarters and surprised us all, but a team that a lot of people think can go all the way in this tournament? Take it away here, Babano. Chattanooga, Illinois.
Yeah, I mean, this one, I like Chattanooga here, plus the points in this game. And Illinois, another team that down the stretch played well for extended stretches in games, and then late in the game would let teams back into it. And you do that today against Chattanooga, you could be going home. Look at Kentucky last night. Look at San Diego State last night. They were up 7 and 8 points with like 3-4 minutes to go, and neither of those teams could put that game away. And Illinois down the stretch kind of let teams back into games. They would be in complete control and end up being a team that would let teams back into it. Now, I've been on the fence for this game most of the week, but the more I look into it, the more I'm I'm convinced Chattanooga could hang in this game. I like what they have. Silvio De Souza, by the way, who is a guy that played high-level power conference basketball at Kansas years ago. Remember, he got in that brawl against Kansas State. He threw the chair, right? Threw the chair. He thought he was a WWE event, not a college basketball game. Threw a chair at somebody, and he ended up getting suspended. And now he's here at Chattanooga, and he could give Kofi Coburn some trouble in the paint. And the key thing with Illinois is, can you defend the pick and roll? If you can defend the pick and roll, Chattanooga, you can have some success against them, and you've got a chance. And Chattanooga's not bad defending the pick and roll. So I think that helps them here in this game. I like what they've got in terms of their guard play. Malachi Smith's outstanding. DJB, David Jean-Baptiste, terrific floor leader, senior point guard, doesn't turn the ball over very much. Those are the kind of attributes, and they shoot the ball well. They play solid defense. It's all the attributes of a team that can be a very, very feisty underdog against an Illinois team that, look, I didn't love their overall team game down the stretch. So I think the Mocs here plus the points, I'm going to make that official. I think they keep this one relatively close.
Okay, Mocs plus the points. I'm going to line shop for you. As we move on, I will do that. So let's just keep rolling. Great stuff, Babano. We move to 7:10 p.m. Eastern West Region first round. CSU Fullerton Titans 21-10 versus the Duke Blue Devils 28-6. We're back in Greenville for this one. Duke opens up as 17-point favorites and moves to 18 and 18.5. This total is at 145. We see 145.5 on the board. When we get to where the cash lies in this spot, we have 32,759 tickets in There is a value, supposed value, Sports Insight says, on Duke. 70% of the tickets, 77% of the cash on the Blue Devils. Then 77% of tickets on the over, but just 45% of cash on the over. So big bets coming in on the under. CSU Fullerton won the Big West tournament. They defeated UC Davis comfortably in the quarters, before beating Hawaii 58-46 in the semis, and then defeated Long Beach State in the finals in a very fun game to watch, 72-71. After taking out Syracuse 88-79 in the corners, Duke beat Miami in the semis by 4 before losing 82-67 in the ACC finals to Virginia Tech. Take it away here, Babano, CSU, Fullerton, Duke Blue Devils.
So this could be a serious athleticism mismatch, just overall quality of player mismatch in favor of Duke. That's very possible. And the Big West Conference hasn't necessarily been a conference that stepped up and played well in the first round of the NCAA tournament with whoever's gone to the tournament from that conference in years past. But I can't lay 18.5 with a Duke team that's playing the level of defense they did down the stretch, which isn't good. And Coach K has talked many times down the stretch, concerned about the D, concerned about defense with this team. I can't lay 18.5 with them in a spot where they have had struggles at the defensive end of the basketball court. Now, is it a situation where, I don't buy into that they were disinterested and they weren't into playing defense. You're playing North Carolina in Coach K's final game at Cameron Indoor. What, that wasn't inspiration to play good defense? That wasn't inspiration to play some strong defense? What, playing Virginia Tech for an ACC championship? You weren't motivated to play good defense? That's what I've seen. They weren't motivated to play good defense. There's some Twitter rhetoric going on about that. I can't believe it. Like, those are spots that they're not motivated to play good defense. That's BS as far as I'm concerned. They suck on defense right now. That's the issue. It's not motivation or any of that crap. It's that they're just not very good defensively at this point in time, Duke. And I'm not going to lay 18.5 with them in this game with the level of defense they're playing right now. Do I have concerns about Fullerton's offense still, even against Duke's defense, which hasn't been great lately? Yes, because they're not a great offensive team. I think they're way down there in terms of offensive efficiency, Fullerton, going into this game. They might struggle. And their defense is going to have a handful at the offensive end with everything Duke can do with Banchero, with Keels and company when they get things going. I mean, there is definitely some concerns. I mean, yeah, in terms of offensive efficiency, Cal State Fullerton is only 216. In the country. So there's some real concerns offensively if they're going to be able to, if they fall behind, can they keep up and keep within this number? But Duke's not playing the level of defense that I like right now to be laying 18.5 with them. So I don't know if I'm betting it, but I would actually take the dog. I would take Fullerton before I lay it with Duke.
And Jake Kaiser is on Fullerton. He says so is CMAC, but Jake Kaiser had a monster, well, only up 2 units, but a really strong day and very strong capping. So I got you an 8.5 on the mocks. There's a 8.5 at Circa. There's 8s at other books, 8.5 with regular juice at -110. And the reason why I can't do it and bet it is because Illinois got that slap in the face. And with these elite teams, I think that early slap in the face, that little wake-up call to come in rested, can help. And that's the only reason. Had they looked very good in their conference tournament, it would be different. But I can't. That scares me. It's an angry Illinois squad. It scares me. So, but I get it, and I'm not going to take the other side. Then Babano just did a great breakdown of CSU, Fullerton, Duke, Blue Devils. Dennis Garcia says lean CSU. And Millsy says, Fullerton, my backyard. Let's go Titans. And then Dan Kelly says, got to sprinkle on Fullerton money line. Do you? We move on to the 7:20 p.m. Midwest region.
Hey, take a shot with these dogs on the money line. Look, St. Peter's showed you that last night. New Mexico State showed you that last night. You absolutely take a shot with the money line. At least a small, even if it's 5-10% of your bet on the money line on the dog. You got to put something on it this time of year.
I love it. Number 11 seed, Iowa State Cyclones. This is a game I'm going to be live for tonight. I really want to hear everybody's breakdown. 20-12 versus number 6 seed, LSU Tigers, 22-11. We're at Pfizer Forum in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We've already heard a couple of LSU backers, and then Good came in saying he's on Iowa State +4, and Iowa State did not look good at the end of the season, and this one's tough. And I may just wait to do it live, but I'd like to have some skin in the game before the game pops off. Iowa State opening up at plus 4.5. There's 3.5s now at DraftKings and FanDuel. This total opened up at 129.5, and it's dropped to 128.5. And there's Latte in the house. There's Fullerton and self-check offense. Team total under 64.5. That's why Latte. Pierre Suarez is on LSU minus 3.5. But Brian Warner says Iowa State plus the points. They're 11 seeds. I'm telling y'all. Let's go over to where the cash lies in this spot. 37,122 tickets in. We have 51% of the tickets on Iowa State, 64% of that cash. Then we have 79% of the tickets on the over, 96% of the cash, but the total is dropping. THC's Rizza says LSU is a mess right now. And Ryan Kozlowski said a friend of mine I played football with at St. Pete's had $50 on the money line. Dennis Garcia says LSU are pass. See, that was my initial feeling on this spot because of the way Iowa State looked coming into this tournament. They lasted just one game in the Big 12, and it was ugly. 72-41 to Texas Tech. It's very tricky and non-possible, but very tricky to back a basketball team that scores 41 points in their game coming into the Big Tourney. LSU opened the SEC with a 76-68 win over Missouri before losing 79-67 to Arkansas in the quarters. Take it away here, Babano, Midwest region, 11 seed, 6 seed, Iowa State, LSU.
Yeah, when in doubt, take the points, and that's what I'm doing here. It's just I think Iowa State, even with their struggles, I prefer them than the situation with LSU. Coaching change, issues galore. Not exactly. Iowa State didn't play well down the stretch either, obviously. But, with LSU, I mean, they didn't exactly play great basketball either. They've been up and down. To me, it's just Iowa State I would trust. I don't think I'm going to make this official. It feels a little, pit at my stomach that this game could go a bunch of different ways. But I'm definitely going to have some kind of bet here on Iowa State plus the point. I'm not going to make it official, but I'm going to look toward Iowa State.
I guess this might be just live action for me. What are your thoughts on this?
That is a good idea, actually. Let's see what LSU looks like. I mean, coaching change, instability in the program. Let's see what they look like. Let's see what Iowa State looks like, because a team that didn't play well down the stretch got bounced early in the Big 12 tournament. But pregame, I could only look plus the points. I'm not laying anything with LSU in their current situation.
What are your thoughts on the total? It opens at 129.5. Sports Insight's telling us that there's all this money on the over, yet it's dropped a point to 128.5.
I guess people thought it was just too low. I mean, Iowa State's not exactly an offensive juggernaut. And look, LSU kind of late in the season trending over 4 straight. But boy, you're talking about, teams that are at least a little bit more offensively capable than Iowa State. Arkansas twice, and then Alabama. Iowa State struggled mightily offensively, but they weren't great defensively in their last 2 games. So maybe they think that, there's a chance for Iowa State to work on their offense, fix it for the tournament, and maybe the total being too low. I think those factors might be why people like the over. But I think now with where the number is right now, I don't know if I'd be running to bet the over.
And CT Bay says LSU minus 4, says taking this number, hoping the coach issue doesn't hurt today. Rand says LSU is way better than Iowa State. And Babano, a big invite has come your way from Razor Sharp Picks. They'd love it if you could jump on the horse racing stream.
Yeah, I'll attempt to. It's
they would
Friday
love that.
night, but we'll see.
Basketball.
Even if it's just for a few minutes, I'll try. Yeah.
Please do. Apologies for the sirens. Every single window is closed in this apartment, but I live in Parkdale, so sirens nonstop, day and night. Kenny V says no baseball picks today. Jimmy the Bag, yes, no baseball picks for me. Only so much time in the day and focusing solely.
Seeing in the chat baseball picks. What are you talking about? And I have to remember it's spring training, and we do have astute spring training cappers and bettors in the chat. I don't bet it, but congrats to those that do well with it.
Jose's freaking out. He just did the beer thing again in backstage. 2 beers in his face. He's losing his shit doing jumping jacks. Let's move on. So no real clarity for me here. No real clarity. Rand says that coach thing, most overblown thing in sports bets, usually doesn't matter. I don't know about Okay. Midwest region. We move on to the South region. South region first round, Wright State Raiders 22-13 versus number 1 Arizona Wildcats 31-3. We're back in San Diego for this one. Wright State, Arizona. Wright State opening up as 21.5-point dogs. There's a 21 now at FanDuel. This total opened up at 156.5. It's creeped to 157 at a couple different books. When we go over to the cash flow in this spot, just 21,713 tickets in. 41% of the tickets on Wright State, 92% of the cash. I find that very hard to believe, but it has moved a half point in their favor. The total 80% to the over of the tickets and 94% of the cash to that over. Wright State got hot at the right time. They defeated Cleveland State easily in the Horizon League semis 82-67, which was a surprise. That upset Pistol Pete Loshak very much that Cleveland State didn't show up. And then they just got by Northern Kentucky, 72-71 in the final. They carried that momentum over, beating Bryant in the 16-seed playing game, 93-82. Arizona comes in on a 6-game winning streak after winning the Pac-12 championships. They fought to get by Stanford 84-80 in the quarters before defeating Colorado 82-72 in the semis, and then beating a tough UCLA squad 84-76 in the finals. Take it away here, Babano. Wright State, Arizona.
This is my national champion pick. In the not that I give two shits about the brackets anymore. I don't. I fill one out just for the sake of it, because everyone fills out a bracket, and I've made Arizona my national champion. I ain't stepping in front of Arizona. Now, do I want to lay 21 and a half? I don't know, but I'm not taking Wright State, and I'm not making a case for Wright State in this game. I know they beat Bryant. Bryant's got their defensive issues. They're going to have a hard time with Arizona. Arizona can beat you outside, can beat you inside. And what I've been impressed with Arizona is even with the injury that they suffered to Kirk Reese, the point guard, who's questionable tonight with the ankle injury, they've been able to adjust to it. And that's what good coaches do. And Tommy Lloyd, obviously one of the best coaches in the NCAA tournament, I think, in my opinion. He's done a great job with this group. He's made those adjustments. I don't think there's any element of Arizona's offense that Wright State can stop consistently. I think Arizona's going to score to their usual 80s. They could even touch 90 in this game. Hell, we saw Bryant put up 82 playing with the pace they did against Wright State. I think Arizona can do similar damage here going into this tournament. I like the over. I'm going to make that an official play. I cashed an over easily with Wright State against Bryant. Bryant played fast. Arizona's going to play fast. Wright State struggled with it. That game went over because Wright State played terrific offensively. They're not going to do that like they did against Bryant, against Arizona, but they are good enough offensively that they can score. The big guy was very good for them against Bryant. He played a very solid game. He's capable offensively. Basili, they've got a terrific performance out of Tanner Holden, 37 points. Trey Calvin can score for this Wright State team as well. You're going to get certainly pace. Both of these teams top 100 in tempo. Wright State not as fast as Arizona, who play at lightning speed, but I think you're going to get pace. You're going to get enough. You're going to get more than enough offense, I think, from Arizona, and you're going to get enough from Wright State to push that game into the 160s. So I like Wright State, Arizona over.
Over the total, I will line shop for you as we keep rolling on. Next up, we have UAB Blazers versus the Houston Cougars, and we have come to the Taint Play of the Day, sponsored by Mia Khalifa. UAB comes in as winners of 6 straight, culminating in that Conference USA Championship, and Matty Ice likes them. Sitting at plus 8.5 with no movement. Opening line still there. Totals dropped 4 points, though, from 141.5 down to 137.5. We go over to the cash flow here. We have very slight, the tiniest little bit of value on Houston. Tiny bit, says Sports Insights. 42,443 tickets in. 57% of the tickets, 71% of the cash on UAB. And then we have 99. Oh, excuse me. That's the money line. No one's betting Houston on the money line, obviously, at the price that you get. So it's all UAB money line action. 65% of the tickets on the over, but just 36% of cash on the over. So the big bets have come in on the under, and the market has moved accordingly. So UAB winning the Conference USA Championship. They beat Florida Atlantic in the quarters 80-66 before just getting by Middle Tennessee 102-98 in triple overtime. That was a fantastic game before beating Louisiana Tech 82-73 in the final. Houston comes in as the AAC champ after losing at Memphis 75-61 to finish the regular season. They got their revenga in the conference final, beating up on Memphis 71-53. I thought revenga was Spanish for revenge because I saw it in Scarface, and I used the word revenga often in Costa Rica till I was informed that they don't know what that word means, and it is not Spanish for revenge. Take it away here, Babano, UAB, Houston.
Yeah, the taint likes UAB, and I do too. But I am concerned now. It does feel like there's a little public underdog syndrome right now with this team. I mean, they're starting to get hyped a little bit. You're seeing Clark Kellogg on CBS and other guys talking about Jelly Walker and how good he is for this UAB squad. That does bother me a little bit. Although he is a hell of a player, but it's not more than just him. He's done a terrific job, I think, this year with this team. Andy Kennedy, he's a great coach. He's done a terrific job. I mean, they've got more than just Walker. They've got Michael Ertl can make big shots, KJ Buffin, Quan Jackson. It's a really balanced UAB team, and it's going to pose problems for even an elite Houston defense. And I still think at some point Houston's going to miss Marcus Sasser. And at some point, you're going to feel his absence. They've managed to get this far without him. And you know what? They played well in the credit to them. They played very well in the AAC tournament. I thought they were kind of vulnerable going into this tournament, but they did play well in the AAC tournament. They eviscerated the three teams they beat there: Cincinnati, Tulane, and Memphis. So that does concern you a little bit going into this game. But I think UAB has definitely got some advantages here to keep this one relatively close with the balance. They can spread you out, and that's the key against Houston. You don't key on one area offensively, and I think that's going to be significant and give UAB a real shot here to hang around in this game. So I like UAB plus 8.5.
All right. Taint and Babano ride together. Taint and Babano ride together. Okay, I will line shop for you, get you the best line here on UAB. Let's roll on. Next up, 9:40 p.m. Eastern. So we have 3 games left. 3 games left before we get into NBA. Thank you, Pedro. I agree. Revenga. Number 10 seed Davidson Wildcats 27-6 versus the number 7 seed Michigan State Spartans 22-12. We're in Greenville, South Carolina for this one. This is going to be a beauty. Davidson opening up as 2-point dogs, then 1.5, now 1-point dogs. This total opened up at 141.5, then drops to 140.5 and 140. When we get over to the cash in this spot, we have just under 45,000 tickets in, 41% of the tickets on Davidson and 86% of the cash. So more public tickets on Michigan State, but the big bets on the Wildcats. Total has 75% of tickets on the over, but 69% of that cash. Davidson comes in after losing to Richmond in the A10 finals, 64-62. We've already seen what Richmond can do and what they're capable of in the big tourney. And that was probably a nice wake-up call for Davidson. Michigan State closed the season stronger than we all expected. They defeated Maryland and then Wisconsin in the Big Ten tournament before losing 75-70 to Purdue in the conference semis. Sammy Culmer on Davidson money line, and CT Bays saying completely agreeing with the idea that the public it's a public dog on UAB, and that is concerning there. I can't without Paulie Walnuts, my guy. Great to see you. Take it away here, Babano. Davidson, Michigan State.
I like Davidson here. Michigan State, not interested in what they're doing right now. I look at this group. Davidson 10th in the country offensive efficiency. They just great ball movement, cutting, floor spacing. They always get a great shot and pass up a good shot, which is what I like. They've got 3 great sharpshooters: Foster Lawyer, Luka Brockovich, Youngjun Lee. They all shoot, high 30s or 40% from 3-point range, which is just outstanding. 3-point, you hit some threes, you're live in an NCAA tournament game. They get good looks. They don't turn the ball over much. And look, a lot of Michigan's offense is just from junking up the game and getting those getting those turnovers and fueling their transition game. Davidson just doesn't turn it over, though. Now, the issue for Davidson's been their defense at times. So I kind of lean to the over here as well in this game. But Davidson's defense did improve down the stretch. They got better at that end of the basketball court. And I think that's probably a good sign for them going into this game here tonight. So I think, and another thing, too, that's concerning for Michigan State, not only have they been so erratic, inconsistent, they really have failed to put things together, but now they've got an injury to the ankle to Tyson Walker, their point guard. That definitely is concerned. I think he's going to play, but can he function close to 100%? That's going to be an issue, in my opinion. Michigan State's been porous defensively at times. And you know what's funny? Iowa shredded them. There's a lot of elements of Davidson's offense that are very similar to Iowa's. And I think that's going to pose some trouble here for Michigan State. So let's go with Davidson here. I like them to get the job done. +1.
plus one. Sorry. I'm just got. Oh man, I gotta stay focused here. I got you the +9 on UAB at
Okay.
-111. So
Yep.
Pinnacle's moved it to -1, or moved it to 9 at -111, and Noli knows in the house. Great to see you, Noli. Also, the 156.5, I got you at -110 over 156.5 -110. That's moved to -115 at Pinnacle. So Pinnacle is going to move that to 157 here. Okay, stay focused here. Okay, I'm gonna lock you in on Davidson. I'm very, very interested in Davidson as well. Is there a perceived coaching advantage with Michigan State that concerns you at all?
Yeah, Izzo's good in March, but Bob McKillop's not chopped liver. This guy's been around at Davidson forever. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to get his team ready for an NCAA tournament. Davidson's been in the NCAA tournament many a time. He was here when obviously Steph Curry and Davidson made that run in the tournament. Over a decade ago. So yeah, coaching doesn't bother me here. Izzo's good, but the old guy McKillop can get it done as well.
And are you going to want the point while I line shop, or you want plus money on the money line?
We'll do the money line for the plus money. Why not?
Okay, we have two more games before we get into NBA. It's Darryl is backstage ready to attack. An attack he has this year, 60% on the season. Next up, Midwest region, first round, Colgate Raiders. First, number 3, Wisconsin, Badgers were in Pfizer form in Milwaukee. Colgate finished season on a 15-game winning streak. It culminated in the Patriot League Championship. Let's see what we are dealing with. We have Colgate opening up at +8.5. Money coming in on, we'll see. I shouldn't say that. +8 and now +7.5. At least the market moving towards them. The total opening up at 139. They're now 139.5 and 140s. So we have a perceived value. I should say perceived. Sports Insight says there's value on Colgate at this number. 65% of the tickets are on Colgate, but just 59% of the cash. So some big bets have come in on Wisconsin. There's 55% of the tickets on the under and all the money. They say 99% of the cash is on this under, and we've watched this under drop to okay. Okay, it's acting up, so I'm just going to move on. Colgate, as I said, they defeated Navy very comfortably in the final of the Patriot League Championship, 74-58, and this was a good season for Navy, and they handled them easily. Wisconsin closed the season with 2 straight losses, most notably losing to Michigan State 69-63 in the Big Ten quarters. Possibly a good slap in the face that makes them more rested and ready to fire here. Take it away, Babano, Colgate, Wisconsin.
Yeah, look, definitely in terms of the location, it's a nice little edge for Wisconsin. Fiserv Forum, Milwaukee, they're in their home state. They're going to have a lot of Badger red in the crowd. That's definitely going to help them out, no question. But I keep thinking, I'm still going to stick to my guns here that this matchup is a good one for Colgate. I'm on them plus the points. If you can find an 8, great. I'll take them at +7.5. I think their offense is very, very good, and efficient, patient offenses that's when you can break down Wisconsin and have success. And I think Jack Ferguson, Nellie Cummings, and Tucker Richardson, that group and company for Colgate, they are going to be able to run their offense and really, not be frustrated by Wisconsin's slow play. They can execute in the half court. They've shown that. Look what they did to Navy. Navy wants to slow things down, and in the Patriot League Championship game, 23 of 41. They didn't get as many field goal attempts, but they were efficient. And they don't get frustrated when they play teams that maybe want to play a half-court, slow-down style of game. Add on to the fact that Wisconsin, not exactly a terrific end of the season for them. You lose to Michigan State and Nebraska in back-to-back games. Johnny Davis is going to play, but he's playing through an ankle injury. He's playing through a little bit of pain. I think that's a bother for me because without him being at a high level, I get real concerned about Wisconsin. Brad Davison's a nice player. Wall's capable inside, but when Johnny Davis goes, Wisconsin goes. Is Johnny Davis going to be going tonight in this game against Colgate? That's a concern that I have. You've got Colgate defensively. I thought they got better down the stretch of the season. Colgate as well. When you look at them, I think when you look at their defensive numbers and what they can do, again, like I said, improvement there down the stretch. So the one concern is Wisconsin's going to have the massive crowd advantage. They're going to have it's basically maybe close to a home game for them. But I think Colgate's got it in them to overcome that. And let's not forget, Colgate's had, They had a win against obviously Syracuse, St. Wisconsin, but you give Colgate credit. They've gone on the road and beaten power conference teams earlier this year. So the way they can shoot the three, the way their defense has improved, the way they're patient and efficient offensively, and probably won't get, flustered by the way Wisconsin wants to grind this game down to the half court. I think it sets up for elements for Colgate to take this game right down to the wire.
I like it. Now, do you want Colgate plus 7.5 at -105 or plus 8 at -116?
Let's do plus 8.
Plus 8 at -116. And I was only able to find you a plus 100. I don't know if anybody can beat plus 100 on Davidson. Let me know. Let's talk about the last game on the card here. And we are talking the South Region first round. TCU Horned Frogs 20-12 versus number 8 Seton Hall Pirates 21-10. We are in San Diego, California. We have TCU sitting at +1 or a pick'em, and this total going from 129.5 down to 128.5. And we get over to the cash flow. We have 2,569 tickets in. 61% of the tickets, 79% of the cash on TCU. And then it's 50-50 on the total, but 95% of the cash on the under is interesting. TCU finished the season losing 3 of 4. They beat Texas 65-60 in the quarters. That was a big win, obviously. And then they lose to Kansas 75-62 in the semis. Seton Hall had their 6-game winning streak snapped in a 62-52 loss in the Big East quarters. Take it away here, Babano. TCU, Seton Hall.
Yeah, this one's tough because usually I like to back Seton Hall in the tournament, but they had some injuries, they had inconsistency, throughout the course of the season. TCU actually ended up playing pretty well late in the season for Jamie Dixon. They beat Texas in the Big 12 tournament. They had a win against Kansas, a narrow loss against Kansas. I mean, they battled the Jayhawks, who are really playing good basketball right now, tough. I don't want to sell TCU short. And at the end of the day, the difference could end up being, with Bryce Aiken still out with that concussion, there is some guard play that can make the difference here for TCU in a game that's probably going to be close. And so initially I was leaning to Seton Hall, but I don't want to sell TCU short. Mike Miles is playing at a terrific level at the moment right now for TCU. We'll see if he can keep that going. He averages 15.1 points per game, and Seton Hall just hasn't had game in and game out. Their defense has not always been there. Offensively, they really scuffled late in the season, and I think Aiken's absence has a lot to do with that. So, yeah, I mean, I was still leaning Seton Hall. Initially, I was leaning Seton Hall, but the more I look at this, the more I'm going to say I'm going to pass. And I think TCU, TCU is the better form down the stretch, and that concerns me about the Pirates here.
Great work, Babano, breaking down all 16 games ahead of us today on this giant day 2 card of the tourney. Let's review action here. Jose Bouquet, say hey, play of the day is on Ohio State, and that looks good early. Babano on Loyola at -103. Then Babano's on the over 138.5 in Jacksonville State, Auburn. Jacksonville State up 14-11 early. Auburn's got to get on track. Babano moves on Montana State +15 at -109. He's on the over 144 in Yale, Purdue. Then Delaware +15.5 at -110. And from the breakdowns and watching Villanova win all these tight games, that seems very appealing. Probably the most appealing of these looks that I've heard broken down. Also, I still believe in Notre Dame. And then the Miami USC, I did want to pull the trigger on Miami, but I may have cold feet now after.
I will. It's just not going to be official. I will have a bet of them and some smaller variety bet on
the Hurricanes.
Yeah.
I think I will too. The Mocs. Chattanooga +8.5 at -110. And Piker says that Trump is on Davidson. I do like Davidson in this spot as well. CSU, Fullerton, Duke, Blue Devils, no action. Iowa State, LSU, no action. Over 156.5 in Wright State, Arizona. And Arizona is Babano's pick to cut down the nets. Matty Ice, Taint play today, UAB +8.5. Babano got the +9 at -111 available at Pinnacle. And Pistol Pete has this a great fear of when Pinnacle is giving out the best line on a bet that he wants to make, and he references it all the time. I don't have enough history with that situation to really say how it works for me personally. Babano's on Davidson +100, Colgate +8 at -116, and there you have it. And I'm on the Tar Heels tomorrow +5.5 at against Baylor. Babano, thank you so much for all your hard work. Hope that you can jump on the horse racing show. They would love to have you. Follow Ian Cameron on Twitter at Babano and catch him today in his big NBA show at 4 p.m. Eastern. NBA Pub Hub, the best show in the industry. Take it away, Babano. Any last words for the Capper supporting the show?
No, just good luck this weekend in the NCAA tournament. I look forward to seeing many of you next week in San Antonio. We're gonna have a hell of a good time. I can't wait for that. Down there, the Pub-a-Palooza, NBA Pub Up later today, and stick around. Darryl is gonna crush it here with the NBA breakdowns coming up.
Yeah, as he always does. Great guy, Babano. Thank you for sharing your hard work with us. We love you dearly and can't wait to hear you rapping in the bar at Southtown 101. Darryl might not know that Babano, after a few drinks, just raps for the rest of the night. So get ready. Please welcome our next guest coming to us from Los Angeles, California. And what a spectacular capper he is. I was talking about what Darryl does for me, and that's when he really breaks down the angles in an NBA game. He was worried that some of the takes take too long. And I was like, look at my ROI on the shows you're on. The longer you take, the more something illuminates for me. And when it comes down to it, I need the money bad. Please welcome your next guest. It's Darryl Rice in the house. Darryl, what's happening?
Yo, Jimmy, what's good, man? What is good? Happy Friday, bro. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Great call. Yeah,
man. It's good. It's good to be back. Came off a pretty good, what was that, Wednesday?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Dubs wouldn't let me be great. But yeah, today it's a good day, man. It is a good day today. Like I always say, it's my mantra. Any day on this side of the grass is a good day. So thanks for having me back, Jay. It's exciting to be back on the show with you. Everybody in the chat, everybody, I love y'all. Love y'all. Even my Pier 1 Imports background. I love all y'all. So let's get into it, man. Let's get
into it. C. James was sure that you'd be busting out the Yellowtail Shiraz today, but maybe he wants to keep that liver straight.
Yeah, man. To be honest with you, I kind of been off the drink for a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah. So, you sometimes you got to take breaks. Some things are good to quit for a little bit, and then
I'm off the sauce now, Sunday through Thursday. That's the rule we have around the house.
Yeah.
But the problem is that Friday, Razor Sharp Pick screams, there are no rules on this horse racing show, and I just start pouring vacuum like all over my head and face, and like all over my tatalias. So I've got to, but it's going to be a lot of fun here in a minute when we're all in San Antonio together. I like your any day on this side of the ground is a good day. Mine's different. Any day in the black, it's a good day.
It's a good day, huh?
I just need the black, baby.
I hear you,
get
buddy.
the black in NBA now, Darryl. This is always, just us listening to you, but it's going to be even more so today because was focusing so much on the 16 college basketball games. So I'm not going to be able to set maybe as good of a table as I try to set for you. But let's get right to work right now. Let's bring up the X Network and move over to NBA, and let's go. Okay, we get started here with a beauty. 7 p.m. Eastern. Dallas Mavericks, 43-26, 20-14 on the road at the Philadelphia 76ers, 42-26, 19-15 at home. Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Mavericks open up at plus 4.5. They move to 3.5. Now they're 3 at DraftKings. And let's get all markets up here. And the total opens up at 222, and the bottom's fallen off. We're down to 216.5. And we know what the Mavericks do late. They just slow it down. And obviously the market paying attention to that. Dallas 4-1 over the past 5, 29th in pace at 93 possessions a game. When we did our show on Wednesday, by the way, I swept the board on Wednesday, 5-0 with your breakdowns. It was good. It felt really good. And I felt like the best look that I had. Well, obviously the Nuggets was a smash and grab spot, and I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is. A ton of people moved on, and we're really thankful for it and giving you a shout out. But
really?
But was the under 240 in the Hawks Hornets game? They finished with 222. I beat that by 18 points. It was just come on. Some teams you can expect efficiency from. But some teams here, like, are you serious with that? If you're not going to have 100 possessions a game, you're going to be able to hit 240. I mean, I just didn't see it. And here you can see why at 222, this is too high of a number. Now at 216 and a half, we don't want to ever be on the ass end of a situation. But Dallas 29th in pace at 93 possessions a game, while the Sixers 3 and 2, 25th in pace at 97.27 possessions a game. Mavs coming off their third straight win, all on the road, and they look like world beaters. They look like, oh, Matty Ice is right. I did forget the mother. You did add mother in the I don't give a motherfucking shit.
Oh, I did. I did. That was. That's how you know. That's how you know I meant it, right? That's how you know I meant it there, Jay. When I say mother, yeah, it's curtains.
Oh, and it was. You catch that so easy. So these Mavs were last seen squeaking out a 113-111 victory at Brooklyn on Wednesday night. And look, no Kyrie, and let's not slap ass, but third straight win on the road and impressive. The Sixers bounced back from their 114-110 loss at home to Denver by defeating the Cavs in Cleveland by a score of 118-114 on Wednesday night. Take it away here, Darryl. Mavericks, Sixers.
Right. So Embiid was in shoot around today, right? Guys in the chat could probably confirm that. If Embiid was in shoot around, then most likely he's going to play, which is a reason why that probably moved a hook. It's probably the reason why, because it was at 3, now it's at 3.5. Dallas, like you said, is absolutely looking like world beaters right now. They almost let that game against Brooklyn get away, right? They were able to beat Brooklyn. They were able to beat Boston, which is probably the #1 defense in the league right now, right? And then, of course, it's Houston. You lose to New York, which is probably, a one-off there. And then you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 game win streak. So it seems like Dallas has found their stride. You've got some great play out of Dinwiddie, right? He seems to fit perfectly there. So, Kristaps we don't need him, right? You've got some good play happening out of Dorian Finney-Smith. And, of course, you've got the Don that seems to be complemented very well by Jalen Brunson, right? So it seems like Detroit has kind of found their stride. It seems like Dallas has really, really found their stride, right? Now, playing against Philly, this is very, very different because if you play slow with Philly, then I believe that kind of works in Philly's favor, honestly. And the reason why is because you allow the pick and roll to develop. So the pick and roll game that Embiid and Harden can play together, it's actually going to work in their favor, which is the reason why I'm thinking that there's that as well as Dallas is playing, they're coming in the dogs. Even after beating Brooklyn and even after the ass whooping that Brooklyn put on Philly, right? So I think the advantage here really is going to be how the game is played in the first quarter. I really do. And I believe that advantage goes to Philly. I honestly do. Knowing how slow Dallas starts off, right? Knowing that they don't really come around until second quarter, until second half of games, I believe the advantage here is Philly first quarter. So I do like Philly first quarter, just based upon the numbers. Right now, Philly is giving you 30 in the last 3, 30 points in the first quarter in the last 3, versus Dallas taking 4 points down, giving you 24 in the first quarter, right? So if they're thinking slow pace here, why not just go for it in the first quarter? Because they're going to set the tone, right? Philly doesn't need to get up and down. If they are going to go up and down, that also works into Philly's favor. So both tempos, in my opinion, works into Philly's favor, and that's why I like Philly here. The reason why I couldn't take Philly the full entire game is because of what I saw Dallas do to Brooklyn, right? What I saw, Brooklyn controlled that game in the first half. And then they slowly got it turned around and Dallas was able to pull out a win. So, in my opinion, I do like Philly first quarter. I believe it's Philly minus or plus 1.5 right now. What do you have?
Let's find out what we can get you right now.
Is it -0.5? Yeah, I'm stepping on it right now, only based upon the numbers. I'm telling you right now, I like Philly first quarter. Even though Dallas ATS last 10, they're over 500. They're 6-4. But I do believe Philly's going to come with the vengeance. If you got Joel Embiid and shoot around playing, that's going to work very, very well for Philly. Philly -1. I'm getting in at -110. I'm stepping on it now. First quarter play. That's my first play.
I can only get a -1 there at Pinnacle. Know something? I could talk for days about Hito. I despised them, but I did see one game at what was then called the Verizon Center in Washington, Raptors Wizards, and
Okay.
he hit a fadeaway from the baseline to win the game, and I despised him, and that helped me get over some of my hatred towards Hito. And I could talk longer, but we got a ton of work to do. A -1 at -107
Yeah.
over
So
there.
he's got the better number, obviously. Yeah, I'm jumping on that.
Did you see a -0.5 though at some book?
No, I didn't. I was looking at another book or another game actually.
Okay. -1 to -107 is the best we could get. And let me just see here if I can beat that quickly, and then we'll move on. First quarter. First quarter spread.
Yeah, Jared, you're right. You're right in what you're saying about a high scoring first half and a lower scoring second half correlates with the Dallas win. They actually did that against Brooklyn. That's exactly what they did against Brooklyn. So that's why I'm saying I can't step on the full game because of what just happened to Brooklyn. So, yeah, that's a very good point there. And that's why I like the first quarter.
What do you think about Astute Chaos's look? Because it has my palms absolutely leaking.
Yeah.
The total has dropped from 222 down to 216 and a half or 217.
Yeah.
So it's a huge move to the under. But also, and maybe this is just like a recency bias, but the Mavs, when it's go time, they slow all the way down. They shut it down. And he's saying you're going to have Dallas, Philadelphia high in the first half, but bomb's going to fall off in the second half. I've seen that so often, and I lost an over in Lakers Mavericks that was skying over. There's 71 points were scored in the second quarter, and then it just shut down completely. What do you think of that look by Astute Chaos first half over?
It just, in my opinion, it just depends on how well the pick and roll works, right? Like you really don't have to go inside, so you can have some pick and roll action or some pick and pop action here, right? I do believe you're going to see Harden have a little bit of ISO ball because really, who's going to guard him? Brunson. So, defense, in my opinion, is going to work in the Mavericks' favor, but I feel that the game has to be slow the entire game. So this is going to be a thing to where you're not going to stop Embiid, right? There's nobody who's going to stop Embiid on Dallas, right? And if you're going to get into a slow game to where you have Embiid guarding who? Is it Dorian Finney? I can't think of the other guy's name. The light-skinned guy. There's not going to be. So there's not going to be any inside action on Dallas' side, which is going to make Luka shoot more balls. And so he's going to have to literally be on fire. He's going to have to be like a James Harden. So it kind of makes sense, but at the same token, it's going to be two different games played, and I think it's all going to be based on adjustments. So you're going to see how the first quarter is played, and that's going to determine how the whole game is played, because you're not going to stop Philly on the inside, right? And you're not going to stop Dallas on the outside, if that makes sense to you.
It does. We love Powell up here in the dirty north, man. We love him in Canada. So I like it. I like it.
Dwight Powell, that's your center. So you're going to put Dwight Powell on Joel Embiid, right? So there's going to be a lot of help defense being played against Joel Embiid. Now, if he doesn't play, he was at shoot around, so it does look like he does play. I'm telling you right now, there's no stopping Joel on the inside. So that pick and roll and that pick and pop action is going to happen. If anything, Dallas is going to have to blitz Harden, right? Just like they blitzed Steph Curry. Not Dallas, but this blitzing defense is starting to incorporate itself really quickly at the end of the season, right? Which means Harden's going to have to get rid of the ball a lot quicker. Now, I know we're talking a lot about this game, but everything is determined in the first quarter. Everything here. And I know that sounds kind of cliche. Well, yeah, Darryl, all games are determined in the first quarter. No, it's how they're going to set the tone for the rest of the game without having to make any adjustments. So if Dwight Powell can't get to work, if Dorian Finney-Smith can't get to work, if Spencer Dinwiddie isn't making his shots, then this is going to be Harden ISO, Harden pick and roll. And that's going to work in Philly's favor.
By the way, we have our guy Brandon Maring says Darryl nailed this late 2 nights ago. He says, "Oh my God, I put a Darryl parlay together. I don't know if it must have been a $3 $3.75 parlay because 12 legs he put it together and it cashed for $500. And so isn't that, I love hearing that stuff, man.
Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you. I love talking ball, man. I really do. And I'm not the smartest guy at it. Like I said, there's a lot of guys, even in the chat, who can really nail this shit. But it's just, I look at ball at a different angle, right? And I just try to get the best possible spots. So shout out to you, Brandon. Glad you were able to put some money in your pocket, brother.
Yeah, I love that stuff. Okay, let's keep rolling. Next up, 7:30 p.m. Now, this game, it might just start going downhill fast. Until we talk about LeBronto up north. Washington Wizards 29-39, 12-21 on the road at New York Knicks 29-40, 14-19 at home. Madison Square Garden, New York. Washington 0-5 over their past 5, 19th in pace at 98.80 possessions a game, while the Knicks 3-2, 17th in pace at 99 possessions a game. We have these Wizards opening up as 5-point dogs, moves to 6 and 6.5. The total goes to 223.5 and 224.5, 225.5. When we had the Nuggets, and I doubled up on that Nuggets spot in Washington, I was like, God, this reminds me of a spot. I forget. Oh God, it was about a week ago, and I doubled up on the Nuggets. And was it Sacramento? Was it in Sacramento? They let a team back in. It was Sacramento, and they let Sacramento back into the game. And Sacramento was even missing both Rashawn Holmes and Sabonis. And Sacramento ended up losing by 6, and I didn't cash that 6.5 full game. And I was like, is this too easy? Like, is this too easy? And then watching that game, I was just laughing out loud, slapping ass and kissing my wife. Prince of the City says Harden sinking faster than the Titanic. He says he looks 127 years old out there.
No. That's Don't be fooled by that. That's all I'm going to say. Only because we're past that game now. But don't be fooled by what you see out of Harden. Trust me, he's okay.
Yes, that is not shouldn't be 255.5. We apologize for that total.
Jesus.
Obviously.
Where's Jose? Get the sake away from Jose right now.
He was celebrating St. Patrick's Day last night. Okay, we have Wizards, Knicks here. Let's take a little look at where the cash lies in this spot and also in that Philadelphia spot. Just under 7,000 tickets in, and 48% of the tickets, 84% of the cash on the Philadelphia 76ers. And in all honesty, I find it hard to believe that the Mavericks can just keep rolling through these teams on this East run, even though I've loved watching it. And then on the total, we don't know the cash, but it's a flip. It's 51% of tickets on the over. And then when we come to this Wizards, say what, my man?
It's weird about that. I know, but it's weird how flat they can come out at times. And we saw that against the Knicks, right? Absolutely. We saw that against the Knicks. So they can pick it up second half, but it's just very weird how or the Dallas Mavericks at time can come out very, very, very flat.
6,317 tickets in the Wizards Knicks. 87% of the tickets are on the Knicks, and they don't have a cash situation here for us yet. And 71% of tickets on the over and no cash there. Wizards come in off their 5th straight loss, 127-109 at home to the Nuggets on Wednesday. Yeah. Their defense has just been atrocious. They've allowed at least 115 points in each of their past 5 losses. They've allowed 113 points in 9 of their past 10 games. They've gone 2-8 in those 10 games. And the Knicks have kind of righted that ship defensively for a short period of time.
Yeah.
The Knicks snapped their 2-game losing streak with an easy 128-98 win at home over the Blazers on Wednesday night. By the way, Prince of the City is Max betting the Mavs. God, it makes me I love watching him fade his hometown every night.
That's funny. Best of luck to you, brother. Best of luck. Like I said, I would only play the first quarter because Dallas can get it done second half. You saw that against Brooklyn. So best of luck. I hope you get paid, brother.
And Rayhan has some great stats on this Memphis game. I'm going to copy and paste that right now. I see James says that's what Las Vegas Dave gave out under 255 at minus 300.
Jesus. That guy's still around. He's still
That's
around.
funny, see, James. That's really funny. Okay, so the Knicks have sharpened everything up defensively for a short period of time.
Yeah.
So they've given up fewer than 100 points, 3 over their last 6 games. And in that stretch, they've gone 4-2. Because before that, they were just atrocious defensively. They snapped their 2-game losing streak with an easy 128-98 win at home over the Blazers on Wednesday night. But obviously, the Blazers are an easier team to slow down. Take it away here, Darryl. Wizards, Knicks.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about this game.
Okay.
I really don't. Because I don't give a damn about the Knicks, man. I don't at all. But just if you want to put your money somewhere, take a little bit of lunch money and take the Knicks because they're going to win. I just didn't want to cap this game because you can't. This seems like an automatic bet. This should be an I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is game because all the teams that the Knicks have lost to, right, have been some great teams. That being Memphis, that being Phoenix, that being Philly twice, right, and Brooklyn, right? The games that they're winning, quiet as kept, this was the team that Dallas was flat against, New York Knicks. So, honestly, I just sometimes I don't know about the Knicks, so I just don't give a shit about this game. Yeah, he will tear his hamstring. He certainly will.
As is tradition.
As
Okay.
is tradition.
I can understand moving on the Knicks, but I after a team gets blown out the way the Wizards were, it's just my ROI is not good. Expecting it to happen again.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't wait to talk about this next game, and I know it's not something that you enjoy talking about.
God, bro.
This is from a situational spot, something that I enjoy enormously, and we'll talk about it here. Lakers 29-40, 9-23 on the road. Raptors 39-30, 17-15 at home. We're at Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario. Lakers 1-4 over their past 5, but 5th in pace at 102.47 possessions a game. Toronto 5-0, 23rd in pace at 98.00 possessions a game. There's a couple different things working in the favor of what I want to bet, but I did want to talk it out with you guys. Lakers open up at plus 7.5. They get up to 9, and now they're coming back to 8.5. The total opened up at 225, now is at 224.5. We get over to the cash in this one. 44% of the tickets are on the Raptors, 75% of cash on the Raptors, and then 55% of tickets are on the under. And I'm not saying that, and I don't want to have much money on this game, but this is a bad spot for the Raptors, and it's always a bad spot in NBA and NHL when a team goes on the road and sweeps the board and then comes home. Always.
Mm-hmm.
And add to that, Ravenga with the Lakers getting destroyed by the Raptors in that first quarter, 33-12, losing 114-103, but we all know what really happened out there. And I don't know if LeBron is going to be in. There's Brandon Maring. Much love to you, my guy. Thank you so much, man. It's thank you for the dono. Thank you for thinking about us, and we're so glad to hear that you cashed and just thank you for the support. And
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it means a ton. So, look,
Can I just make this easy?
Yes,
because it sucks. Lakers are 0-10 in their last 10 first half ATS. 0-10. 0-10. Not 1-9, not 2-8, not 3-7. Lakers have lost every game in the first half ATS. Every game. That's being a dog and that's being a favorite. Right now, Lakers are averaging 49 points in the first half, and Toronto's averaging 57. You ready for this? I'm just going to do it. Are you ready for this? Give me Toronto first half. I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is. You ready for this? Here's my analysis. I don't give a fucking shit. I don't give a fucking shit. So yeah, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fucking shit. I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is. Two things here that you have to understand. Remember when we had talked on Wednesday about the Lakers and the Raptors game and how I said that score was not really telling of how the game was really played? You actually saw the Lakers try to fight in that game, and they could not close out on Toronto. It was just too easy for Toronto. And the reason why is they don't have the bigs, or Lakers don't have any bigs that can play with Toronto's bigs right now. You had LeBron at the 5, just getting worked, right? You got Scotty Barnes making plays anytime that he wants. You had Russell Westbrook, who, in my opinion, needs to drive to the paint, but for whatever reason, he still wants to shoot, right? These are things that you just don't fix right away. Toronto was playing an easy game in the first half. An easy game in the first half. And you saw the Lakers try to close it out and try to get closer. And then for whatever reason, they would just drive to the bucket and get buckets. Like they're not stoppable. So you may not like this spot, maybe full game, but what you have to understand right now is the Lakers do not play a first half game. They do not play a first half game. So if you're going to give me Toronto, who was winning by damn near 20 points in the first half, and that was them just kind of letting up, give me that again. I promise you, give me that again. So I like Toronto, already stepped on it. -5. I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is first half.
Well, I do not obviously want to go with against the I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is, and I don't think that'll be a profitable situation for me, and I don't want to bet the Lakers. So the only way for me to do this then, because I think in Vipers on the Raptors trifecta,
Really, yeah.
Now I can't. It would not shock me if LeBron starts being rested down the stretch because they know there'll be likely play-in games that Lakers are gonna have to win.
Yeah, and this is all strategic at this point.
Yeah, and but he loves putting on a show for us up here in Toronto, and we do call him LeBronto. And if he's in, I will be on the Lakers first half team total over. Is what I will do, or maybe even the first quarter.
Okay, tell me this: what teams have you seen scared of LeBron at this point of the season right now? Like, you're seeing must-win LeBron, you're seeing can't lose LeBron, and teams are literally calling his number. You saw what Cat did to him, right? Where he just boofed him, right? Just pounded him, gave him a shoulder, and just backed him down and got a foul. Like, nobody is afraid of LeBron anymore. So we have to stop what LeBron brings right now. Okay, don't get me wrong. LeBron is still one of the greatest players of all time, right? But we are seeing a 37-year-old LeBron in the latter part of his career still with some type of an abdominal strain. Nobody is really afraid of him anymore, right? To the point to where you got these young boys calling for his number. Toronto, in my opinion, can give the ball to just about anybody, and they are going to be able to score if LeBron is at the 5 because you're asking him to do too much. You're asking LeBron to do too much, right? And so if you're going to say, well, I'm afraid that LeBron comes and just goes off, LeBron can go off and they can still lose.
Right? I agree. Let me tell you this. I would bet against the Raptors early with any team in the NBA. And every single team in the NBA that would play the Raptors after they go out on the road and sweep it and then come home, I would take any team in the NBA to cover against, because obviously the Raptors are going to be huge favorites, and so let me just put that as a. Well, this is more about the horrific spot that I believe teams are in when they go sweep a road trip and come home.
I think it would happen. I personally think it would happen in the second half.
Well, I've got to think about this more, but on some way or another, and I'm also going to wait for LeBron to be announced in.
Yeah.
Not because I think he's almost necessary for the bet, but because if he's not in, I'd like a better number. So
a better number. If he's not in, that's going to like 11.
Exactly.
And then you're going to take the Lakers.
I would bet any team in the league against the Raptors at some. I'm not sure how.
That's wild.
Some bet.
That's wild. That is wild. I can't get with the squad that's 0-10 in their last 10 in first half spreads and think that they have some kind of tenacity that they're going to come out and battle in the first half.
It's not them. I do not expect the Raptors to be sharp here.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. They've already played these boys, man, and they took their lunch. But for what it's worth, and I say that a lot, Jay, what did I say? The Lakers will win games that they should lose and lose games that they should win. Now, For also what it's worth, it hasn't happened. So maybe this is a spot where it does, just to give you a little credit. I don't see it. That's why I call it the way it is.
I hear you. I hear you. And there's no need for me to do anything early because I just expect Raptors money and more money. But at this point, there's more tickets in on the Lakers, but just 25% of the cash. So the big bet's coming on the Raptors.
But the number went from 8 to 9.
Yeah, no, all the cash is on the Raptors. It's just more public tickets. Like the money's on the Raptors, the tickets are on the Lakers, which is generally assigned for the the team where all the money's on, the Raptors, to take care of
Lakers ain't winning this game, bro. It might be a backdoor cover, but they're not winning this game.
I don't think they're going to win the game. I just think there's an opportunity to make money in this situation always in NHL and NBA when a team sweeps a road trip and everybody's so high on them and then they come back home. Always, and I will always do it. But no matter who they're playing against, and we'll see if that blows up in my face. And obviously, I don't want multiple bets on this game. And so
this is their highest spread the last 10. So we will see.
We will see. All right, that was fascinating. Let's move on to Memphis at Atlanta next up. Memphis Grizzlies, Atlanta Hawks, and let's start with our guy Rayhan Hyder, who will be hanging out with you. You'll meet him in San Antonio. Got a smoke shop down there in San Antonio. And I got to hang out with him in Costa Rica. He says in Memphis, in losses by 18 or more, they're 5-1 against the spread in those revenge games by an average cover of plus 11.5 against the spread. And 18 or more, they lost by 32 to Atlanta in a game where Morant gets injured.
Yeah.
He's max betting Memphis here. Max.
I would too.
Betting Memphis here. Astute Chaos is on the Memphis Atlanta first half over 116.5. Just popped it here. Viper says Atlanta 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 games. Grizzlies 48-22, 24-12 on the road. The Hawks 34, 35, 22, and 13 at home at State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. Memphis 4-1, as I said, over the past 5. Second in pace, 103 possessions a game, while Atlanta 3-2, 20th in pace at 98.60 possessions a game. And Memphis comes in off their 4th straight win, 135-102 at the Pacers on Tuesday night. Hawks had their 3-game winning streak snapped in a 116-106 loss at Charlotte on Wednesday. We have let's pull this up here. Sorry, we should have had this ready. The Grizz opened up as 2.5-point favorites, moved to 5.5. This total opened up at 235, is now at 237.5. When we get to the cash flow here, we have, where is it? The 7,364 tickets in, 68% of the tickets and 98% of the cash on the Grizzlies. 80% of the tickets on the over. And again, look, this is not being contrarian, and I wouldn't take it at this line. But this is another spot where you have the star player coming back. Everybody just saw them dominate without him. And there could be some issues chemistry-wise with the star player back and wanting the ball, and he's their leader.
No, especially not with this team. Not the case. Not the case at all. I'm just going to tell you this, Jay.
Sure.
Star player theory is alive and well, right? I do believe that there's some teams that it is more applicable to than Memphis. I believe that. Now, I'm going to take a different angle here because I believe that these teams, this is going to be a close game. The automatic bets obviously are what? Memphis first half, right? Memphis possibly first quarter here. The problem is that these teams can score a lot of points. And you may not have the defense there. Now, Ja's back, so he's questioned. Or Ja has a back injury, he's questionable. Or is he now ruled in? Right? And then you have a quad issue with Trey, right? I think these players play. Points per game in the first quarter, Memphis is number 1 now, averaging 30. They're giving you 30 points in the first quarter. Points per game for Atlanta, they're right up under there. They're 10th. They're giving you 28. So this explains the first quarter spread of 28.5 points, or the first quarter total, 28.5 points, right? This is where it gets tricky, and this is what I like. Opponents' points per game. Oh, let me take that back. Last 3, Memphis is now at 34 points, and Atlanta's at 33. That's 67 points, right? Opponents' points per game. Memphis right now is averaging 27.2 for the season, and in the last 3, giving you 27. Atlanta is averaging 28.4 for the season, in these last 3, giving you 30. I believe there's going to be points scored in this first quarter. If you look at the body of work, the last couple of games that they've played, Memphis hasn't gone under 30, right? They're giving you 30, 37, 38 points. The total itself has not gone under 57. There goes the princess. She's like, who's that guy? I remember him from Wednesday. How you doing? She's like, I need a cookie, Dad. All in all, I'm telling you this. I took the total over 58.5 points because both these teams can easily give you a 30 burger in the first quarter. 30 burger in the first quarter from both of these squads. I believe it can happen. So I wasn't really keen on Memphis first half because they have the same amount of points they score, right? And so it seems like it could be automatic just to take Memphis. Memphis is first in the league right now with first half ATS. So it's like, yo, you just pretty much just take that bet. You blindly bet it. You're going to win more than you lose, right? But in this case here, I wanted to do something a little different because Atlanta does want to make a statement. They are at home. I think you get all the players playing. So I do like first quarter over 58.5 points. I already stepped on it. I do believe you're going to see high scoring.
I love the first quarter look. I think that makes a ton of sense here. A ton of sense. So let's line shop for you here, sweetheart.
I got it at minus 105.
Okay, we're going to get it for you.
Jay, you have a beautiful daughter, man.
Thank you. And we're home alone now. We haven't been for a bit. Ella, I need you. I've got to work here. Okay, my love.
Mama.
Yeah, Mama's not here. She's looking at her house. I can't have this conversation. I'm trying to do a professional show, and it's losing its professional qualities every second we look at each other. Okay, so please, thank you, my love. Okay. So we have a first quarter over here, which I will line shop for you, and that all makes sense. And I apologize, you guys, for this. Okay, let's keep rolling. 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Portland Trailblazers 26-42, 9-24 on the road. At Brooklyn Nets 36-34, 14-19 at home. We're at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Portland 1-4 over their past 5, 8th in pace at 101.90 possessions a game, while Brooklyn 4-1, 18th in pace at 98.90 possessions a game. We'll go over to the cash flow on this. Oh God. When we go over to the cash flow on this here, we have
ready.
Where is Portland here? We have Portland opening up as 12.5 point dogs and moves to 14.5 point dogs. His total opens 225 is now shooting all the way up to 228.5 at a couple of different books. We go over to the cash flow here. We have Portland with 29% of the tickets and 11% of the cash. And then we have 51% of the tickets on the under. 51% of tickets on the under. Portland comes in off their second straight loss, 128-98 at the Knicks on Wednesday. They look terrible. The Nets had their 4-game winning streak snapped in a 113-111 loss at home to the Mavericks on Wednesday night. That was similar to a hater. You just don't give the hater oxygen and they walk away. Take it away here. Okay, yes, that's a great drawing.
This is Carla.
That's Carla.
Oh.
I did that.
Okay, take it away here. Darryl, take it away, my man. Portland, Brooklyn.
I can't, man. It's so funny. Real quick, did you remember that viral video that came out years ago when that guy is on the newscaster? He's doing the news or something on BBC, and the little kid walks in, and you see everybody thought it was the maid, but it was actually his wife trying to pull her out back from the door, and then the little baby comes in with the stroller. That's what that reminds me of, man. That's what that reminds me of.
Okay.
Anyways.
Well, I'd rather we all focus on your spectacular capping. So thank you for all your patience, everybody. Blazers, Brooklyn Nets, take it away.
Okay. I got a question for you, Jay. I got a question for the chat. When does Brooklyn start tanking? Now, the reason why I ask that is because at this point right now, if the playoffs would start, you don't have Kyrie at all. You don't. He can't play at home in Brooklyn, and he can't play in Toronto. Right? So right now, they're 3 games behind Toronto. They're 3 games behind Cleveland, right? And they're like 5 games behind Chicago. So do you make a push? Or do you tank a little bit here? Now, I wouldn't be surprised if you would rather, try to get into that 9th spot if Toronto isn't going to be winning games. You just don't want to play Toronto in the playoffs, because if you play Toronto in the playoffs, as it stands right now, you don't have Kyrie at home. You don't have Kyrie away, right? So, in my opinion, this is a game that Brooklyn should win easily, but I don't know if they cover the spread. I don't know if they cover the spread. So I right now, to be honest with you, you either have to look at props for this game, or you have to look at totals as far as points scored for Brooklyn. But I would stay away from spreads until they get out of this scenario in the playoffs. That's just my opinion. So I personally didn't make a play on this game. I think the number is too high, right? I don't know what you're going to get out of Brooklyn, because I don't know how they're setting or positioning themselves moving into the postseason. But you absolutely don't want to have this scenario right now to where you're lined up with Toronto, because you're not going to have Kyrie in any scenario. So for right now, I'm passing on this game. Look at props. Look at Brooklyn really to give you maybe some scoring in the first half, because they score in the first half. Brooklyn's a first half scoring team. They're the highest. But for right now, look at Paulie Walnut's comments. That's exactly how I feel about this game.
Do you think that there might be an opportunity to back the Blazers early?
Man, if they start sitting players, bro, you know what they're doing. If Brooklyn is sitting players for this game, come on, man. That should tell you all you need to know, right? I just know they want to be out of this scenario where they technically, I mean, we've got 12, 11 games left in the season. You want Toronto to probably get out of here, right? You probably want Toronto to move up to Cleveland's spot, which they can if Cleveland loses, right? Cleveland can lose tonight against the Nuggets. And then you'll see that swap happen. But at the same time, does Brooklyn want to play Cleveland? Jeez. So it's just one of these things to where I think Brooklyn would probably want to play Charlotte or Atlanta, but definitely not Toronto right now in the postseason.
Yeah, I can just imagine what Durant would do in a playoff type situation without Kyrie. Without Kyrie, he would, and especially after we beat the Warriors when he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I could just imagine, like, I watched that entire Lakers-Raptors game when Kobe went for 80 plus 81.
81 points.
Yeah. And I could just imagine, in that game that Kobe, the Raptors were playing good and Kobe had to score. Like, it wasn't like he was like they were up 20 and they were just giving the ball to Kobe. Like, the Raptors were playing very well in that basketball game. And I could just imagine what KD would do to us. With Portland here,
this should be a pass on the game, right? It should be a pass unless you're just really, really hefty on Brooklyn. I mean, Brooklyn can take their foot off the gas, and this could be a backdoor cover, or it's like a 30-point blowout. But you can't go around betting on squads that are not fully healthy like Portland is, right? You don't have Anthony Simons there, and so you're basically playing with a bunch of no-names, right? Okay. So Brooklyn's going to be able to control this game from start to finish. They can control this entire narrative. If Brooklyn wants to win, they can win by more than margin. If they want to keep it close, they can do that too.
All right, well, let's keep rolling along. I did solve the issue. I should have thought of it earlier. Just give her the phone. 7:30 p.m. Eastern next up. Denver Nuggets 42-28, 22-15 on the road at the Cleveland Cavaliers, 39-30, 21-12 at home. And Sammy B says Backwood. I agree. I'll just let that go for sure. Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, Cleveland, Ohio. Denver 3-2 over their past 5, 22nd in pace at 98.3 possessions a game, while the Cavs are 2-3, 28th in pace at 95.41 possessions a game. We have these Cavs opening up as a 1-point dog. PointsBet just moved it to 3.5. They're leading the way there. Then the total opening up at 220.5. It shot up 5 points to 225.5. We go over to the cash flow in this spot. 84% of the tickets are on the Nuggets, 93% of the cash. And then 83% of the tickets are on the over, 96% of the cash. And that's explained. That all makes sense. That all makes sense. But how much better are the Cavs than the Wizards? And is, even without Jared Allen. And I like betting against a team that just destroys a bad basketball team.
Right.
It's an angle that I really like. And Denver started this road trip with back-to-back wins. They beat Philadelphia and looked so good doing it.
And who just lost to Philly? Cleveland.
Yeah. And another angle to that is that the Raptors had just beaten them, so they had to step up there. They carry that good play over against the Wizards and beat up on them. Now, are they able to do it here against the Cavs? Cavs coming off their third loss in 4 games, and they played the Sixers tough, losing 118-114. Take it away here, Darryl. Nuggets, Cavs.
They played them tough in the beginning. I believe, if I remember the tempo and flow of that game, Philly had to claw back to win that game. Philly was actually down. Opponents' first half points per game, Denver's allowing 58.3, right? Cleveland's allowing 60.7 in their last 3. If you're going to look at the tempo, how this game would be played, I would kind of maybe make it the same type of game that Philly just played against Cleveland, right? This feels like a Denver game if I haven't seen one ever before. So looking at their last 10 first half ATS, right now, Nuggets are sitting 5th in the league, right? They have a better away record ATS than they do at home. I mean, it's like night and day. They're 14-17-2 at home for the season, and they're 23-13-1 away first half ATS. So I took Denver Nuggets minus, I don't give a shit what the spread is. First half, last game. I'm going to go back to the well here. Only because of how terrible Cleveland has been as of late in the first half. Right now in their last 10, they're 3-7. So even though they're still sitting 4th in the league, Denver Nuggets is not too far behind them. So I'm going to go back to the well here. Give me Denver Nuggets. At this point, it could be a 2.5, or I've got a 1.5 points. 1.5 points. So because of the amount of points that Denver is allowing versus how many Cleveland is allowing in the first half, you got a better big man. Now, that's probably an argument in its own, right? Who's the better big man right now, Joker or Embiid? Joker is a better big man at getting more players involved, where Embiid might be the better scorer, right? So give me Denver Nuggets minus 1.5 first half that they get this done. I've already stepped on that play here. I got it at minus 110. I'm going back to the well with that. I think this is an easier team to get it done against.
Well, I can get you that at minus 103. So let's start there. Get you Nuggets first half minus 103. First half minus 103. I'm with Jay Soul in this spot. Third game of a homestand off a loss is a strong bet on spot. And I also imagine if we wait that we can get a better number than 3. So I have this is a Brant. This is a Rocket Mortgage. I have real interest in the Cavs here. Almost afraid.
If it's going to happen, right? It's going to happen in the second half. That's just how these games kind of play out. They're not getting it done in the first quarter, in the first half, like they used to, right? They've got to claw back. So it's just one of those things to where you take the Nuggets, you take them early, you get your money, you get out of there, because their body of work, even their most recent body of work. I looked here at the amount of points that Cleveland is allowing, and they are allowing more points than Denver in the first half. So that's why I like this one even better. And the spread is so low here, right? So Cleveland can claw back and get it done late, but I like Denver better in the first half here. So maybe the flow of this game is close first quarter. Denver will still win first quarter. They will win first half, and then Cleveland may just win and cover this game.
Fascinating breakdown. So much fun. I enjoy this stuff so much. There's Trot Wham in the house. We love you.
Man,
Wham, my
good.
guy. Can't wait to see you in San Antonio. All right. Daryl's in Nuggets first half -103. And I have interest in the Cavs full game, but we'll wait at this point. And Astute Chaos on the first half, over 115.5 at plus money. And
There you go.
Parlaying Memphis Atlanta first half over 116.5, and Denver Cleveland first half over 114.5. He's getting a plus 272 there. All right, let's keep rolling. Next up, 8 p.m. Eastern, Oklahoma City Thunder 20-49, 11-23 on the road at Miami Heat, 46-24, 25-9 FTX Arena, Miami, Florida. I was upset that I didn't trust what we talked about with the Thunder going to keep coming back at the Spurs, and they did just that, and they lost 122-120, and that would have been an easy cover that I was not. And then shout out to Slaughter, a Big Show, Billy Brisbane, and Slaughter's son. They had the best tickets I've ever seen. I've never had tickets that good in my life. I believe it was like second row, first is not on the floor, but just barely off the floor. And they watched that Thunder come back in their Spurs jerseys. Let's see what we are dealing with here. We have OKC opening up at 16-point dogs, moves to 16.5. His total opens up at 219.5 and it drops to 217.5. When we go over to the cash, we have 64% of the tickets on OKC, but 26% of the cash. So the big bets are on the Heat, even at this number. And this total 59% of tickets on the under, 75% of cash on the under, in the market moving towards the under. Oklahoma City comes off their 7th straight loss. We just talked about it, the Spurs game. Miami bounced back from their 113-104 loss at home to the Timberwolves by defeating the Pistons 105-98 at home on Tuesday night. But they're playing underwhelming basketball. But they are fresher here than they have been. And when we go over to their injury report, we have, Oladipo, Caleb Martin, Butler, and Tucker questionable. Oladipo sideline, so Oladipo out. And then with Butler, we have questionable with the ankle sprain, and it says that he did not participate in practice on Thursday. He sure has been battling injuries this year, and this is a scary time to do that, and it might be time just to rest him. Take it away here, Darryl. Thunder, Heat.
Yeah, man. Some games, I tell you, don't be afraid of the number, right? Now, last game they played against Detroit. On the show earlier I was doing, my buddy Corey was saying he's taking Detroit because Miami's just been in this shooting slump as of late, right? They've been in the shooting slump. Miami's first in the league right now in the standings in the East. I don't know, and I mean they're beating Milwaukee now by 2 games. The thing with Miami, and I just saw a comment about they can't stay healthy. Harold, they haven't been healthy all year, and they're first in the league. There's some teams that can play where you're not afraid of the number. This number I'm not afraid of. And now it seems a little contradictory because remember we were talking about how OKC can come back, right? They can cover spreads. They can come back. And how Detroit has been playing as of late, it seems like Detroit has found their own little rhythm, right? And it's starting to get things done. You saw that against Orlando, too. That's what you call a bum fight there, and they mopped them last night, right? So, in my opinion, I do lean heavy to Miami. I'm not afraid of this number. This is a 20-point game. It is definitely a 20-point game. But you want to see if those questionable players are playing. If Jimmy Butler's playing, I'm all in. I'm all in on this game. So, it's a Heat game for me. Not really sure about a trifecta, but I just think as the game progresses and goes by and you've ran all your actions and schemes, that they're not going to have any answer. They're not going to have any answer for the Miami Heat. And so if this is a get-right game to get out of your shooting slump, if you will, I believe this is the game you can do it with against OKC. I'm not afraid of that number. Just haven't stepped on it because I want to see where these injury reports go. We'll see. Especially, I mean, you have SGA who's questionable.
Let me pull that up right now. I just had that up. I don't know. I was so focused on. Yeah,
he's questionable. I mean, you take him out of the game. This is another like Portland Trailblazers team right now, but worse. So it just seems like this would be the game to where if Heat's going to get right and play their game, this would be the team to do it against. I do like Heat here. I'm not afraid of that number. I'm leaning there. Just might step on it. Don't be afraid of the 16.
Wow. Another interesting game. Not quite as exciting as the others, but interesting all the same. Let's move on to 8 p.m. Eastern. Indiana Pacers 23-47, 8-27 on the road. Eastern Rockets 17-52, 10-23 at home. Toyota Center in Houston, Texas. Both teams 1-4 over their past 5 and playing at a similar pace. Houston 100.31 possessions a game over those 5, while Indiana 9th at 101.50 possessions a game. We have the Pacers opening up at -3. Now we see 4s right across the board. This total has rocketed up to 243.5.
Yeah.
At what point is this too hot? Oh my goodness. Let's see where the cash lies. And I bet you it's not going to be all. I bet you it's too high now. And that's exactly the. Oh no, sorry. We don't know. We don't know, but 58% of the tickets are on the under, so we don't know. But at what point do you say this is ridiculous? The Indiana comes in off their second straight loss, 135-102 at home to Memphis Grizzlies on Tuesday. Houston comes in off their third straight loss, 129-112 at home to the Suns on Wednesday. Take it away here, Darryl. Pacers Rockets.
I don't give a shit about this game. I don't give a shit about this goddamn game at all. I'll just keep it there. I keep it 100 with you. I mean, as all these games we have, you want me to try to play the Pacers at the Rockets? You better look at Halliburton props. You better look at some props for players. But bruh, please don't bet your money on a side on this fucking game. Don't do that. A lot of games we played, so I don't give a shit about this game.
Why do I want to bet unders and bum
See?
so bad?
See, Jimmy, you be itching, man. You be having these, you be having these little crackhead itches, bro. He's like, oh, I need to play it.
All right, let's move on. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to be on this under 240.5. Let's move on to 8:30 p.m. Eastern. New Orleans Pelicans 28-41, 12-21 on the road at San Antonio Spurs 27-43, 14-22 at home. We're at the AT&T Center in San Antonio, Texas, where we all will be together on Thursday night. And we got a really nice price on the tickets. We waited them out, but we got in right before the tournament started when we thought the prices would go up. I think we handled it beautifully. And big shout out to our guy, Jeff Slaughter, who paid for all the tickets, knowing that we would all hook them back up. But, the trust and also having the ability to buy, $3,500 or $4,000 worth of tickets. Big shout out to our guy, Jeff Slaughter. And and also, if anybody still wants in on poker and the Grizzlies Spurs game, we have sign-up forms for that. Pelicans 28-41, 12-21 on the road at the Spurs, 27-43, 14-22 at home. We're AT&T Center in San Antonio, Texas. Pelicans 1-4, 10th in pace at 100.9 possessions a game. Spurs are playing fast, 103 possessions a game. They're 2-3 over that period. They are playing very fast basketball right now. Spurs opened up as 3-point favorites. That drops to 2.5. This total sitting at 237. There is a 237.5 on the board. The Pelicans coming off an ugly 131-115 loss at home to the Suns on Tuesday. The Spurs coming off an underwhelming 122-120 win at home over the Thunder on Wednesday. And the first thing we need to do is take a look at whether or not. Okay, so definitely no Graham, and then we have the issues on. Definitely no Ingram, and then we have the issue on: is Devontae Graham going to be in the lineup with that hip injury? And the answer to that is, soreness questionable, but Brandon Ingram didn't bother traveling with the team. Takeaway here, Darryl, Pelicans, Spurs.
Yeah, I'll leave it simple. There's some games that you can really look at and say, okay, this is the game to do it. This is the game to take Spurs first quarter. This is the game to take Spurs first quarter, right? I like Spurs first quarter in this case here. There's a huge disparity in numbers as far as how many points scored in the first quarter, right? And you're missing some set pieces with New Orleans. So San Antonio is going to give you 31 in the first quarter, while New Orleans is going to give you about 27. They're going to give you 27. And so now, what did I say about Pop? You give Pop a little bit of a couple days of game plan and scout the right way. This works into their favor. They're a very system team. So this one here, in my opinion, is going to be San Antonio first quarter. Even though their last 10, they're 3-7. I'm telling you right now, this is going to be the get right game for them. San Antonio is going to come out and win this first quarter easy. I've already stepped on it. San Antonio -1 first quarter. I like it.
You're muted, Jim.
Sorry, more sirens outside. I like that bet. I like that a lot, and thank you, Jose. I like the Spurs first quarter a lot. I think that I'm going to be tailing that action here. Okay, so I'm going to line shop for you, but let's move on. We have Clippers, Jazz, and how angry Reggie Jackson got at the no box out there when Van Fleet was taking the foul shots at the end of that game. I was like, there he is. There's the guy that everybody's wanted for the last 10 years who just doesn't seem to care enough. I was like, there he is. He's right there. And he's playing for real. And that's why he's been so good this year. He was so angry at the no box out. And I was like, God, see the emotion? I mean, that guy cares now. And that was always something that I wasn't sure of because he has all the talent in the world. Clippers open up as 10-point dogs. Drops to 5.5, now 5. Total opens up at 221. Dropped all the way down to 213.5. Huge market moves here in this game. Huge market moves. 8,007 tickets in. 44% of the tickets on the Clippers. 87% of the cash. Those of you who are interested in the Clippers, you're too late.
Too
Come
late.
back another time. 56% of the tickets on the under, just 34% cash on the under, because there's been buyback clearly on the overs. Clippers got coming off their second straight loss, 103-100 at home versus Raptors on Wednesday. The Jazz coming off their second win in 3 games so far on the homestand. And that was the one, Darryl, that was just like, oh, we talked all about it. And why did I? And it was such an easy, just adding units. The capping on Wednesday was so strong, and I just left that money on the table. Take it away here, Darryl. Clippers, Jazz.
Yeah, I did. This one was tricky, and I left it alone. I'm just trying to understand what the hell the Jazz are doing. I think the Clippers, if you're going to make a play, take a little bit of lunch money, put it on Clippers money line. It's just weird how the Jazz are playing. Have you seen their last 10? Like, it's almost destined that they actually lose today, right? It's February 27th win, March 2nd win, and then it's loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win. It's like they go back and forth here. And so this is one of these games, in my opinion, to where the Clippers can get up and play a game that they shouldn't have lost against Toronto. They had an overtime game against Cleveland that they lost. It took Evan Mobley going off, right? I just feel, man, this is just my gut saying that Clippers are going to win this game outright. When you've got such a huge line move like that, I just feel that there's no way for the books to adjust to this. And if you just take the Clippers money line, take a little bit of money. I'm going to do that. I'm going to bring it out here. Los Angeles Clippers money line. That's not an official play for me, but that's the play I would go with. Los Angeles Clippers money line to win this game outright.
Wow. Pinnacle weights. They're not like Bet Online that are trying to be the first to the market. They wait. They don't want to get burnt. And even they've gone from 9.5 down to 5.5.
That's a huge market move. So who's not playing? Who is not playing for Utah? Does that mean Mitchell and Gobert is going? 5-point move?
Well, this one you would be able to say, well, look at all the money, which is something that isn't. But yeah, Mitchell's out. Bogdanovich is out. So it's a
Daniel House. Yeah, so maybe you don't have a Gobert. Is he a late scratch here? These guys are already out, and the market started at -10. What originator did that? They're in trouble. They are in trouble. But this just feels like at this point, this is going to work into the Clips' favor. If you want to take Clips trifecta here, you probably could, maybe. But like I said, you missed all that value. So when you miss that much value, you just try to get it back with the positive, with the positive number. So Clippers money line, lunch money would be the play here.
And this was announced yesterday.
Yeah.
So it was announced at 7:22 p.m. Eastern yesterday on Roto. So
what's the number? I think I'm going to make that official. I think I'm going to bite the bullet here and make that official.
I can't do it when I miss it like that because
No,
if
what's
I
the
had
number
have
on the
just
money line?
oh okay
You would still just take. You would try to get that.
it'd be very, very difficult for me to make a
Plus
money line bet. I
190.
wouldn't do it because the opener
Yeah,
was plus 352.
yeah, plus
Then
190.
then even if you waited till the news came out. Now, obviously, the market was moving because at 7:22 p.m. at Pinnacle, it moved to 263, and this report didn't come out on Roto World to that time, exact time 7:22.
Yeah,
So 3
yeah.
minutes later, it dropped 22 cents to 241. Even at that point, 235, 228. I'm like, okay,
That's
but
pretty decent.
now
Yeah,
now
190.
it's at plus 187.
Yeah, you might as well just take the number. But yeah, and you missed the value there. So yeah, I'm off that game.
Yeah, have to be. Let's move on. 10 p.m. Eastern. Boston Celtics 42-28, 18-16 on the road at the Sacramento Kings, 25-46, 60-21 at home. We're at the Golden One Center in Sacramento, California. Boston 4-1 over their past 5, 27th in pace at 95.5 possessions a game, while Sacramento is 1-4, 7th in pace at 102.00 possessions a game. Now that the site looks to be working, why don't we, here we go, see what they've got for us with line movement here. We have Boston opening up at minus 8.5. It has moved to 9.5 at most other books. Bodog and Pinnacle moved to 10. This total opened up at 225.5. It's dropped to 224.5. We go over to the cash here. 84% of the tickets are on the Celtics, but just 67% of the cash. Sports Insight says that the Celtics do have value at this number, and 92% of tickets are on the over, but we don't know what the cash count is. Celtics bounced back from that 95-92 home loss to the Mavs by beating up on the Warriors, 110-88 in Frisco. Kings come in off the 135-126 loss at home to the Bucks on Wednesday night. Take it away here, Darryl. Second to last game on the card, Celtics Kings.
Yeah, so what I do like about this is that I think Boston's in a good spot, but you have to look at them full game, right? Sacramento's actually scoring more points than Boston in the first half. So there's no advantage really for you just thinking that Boston's going to play that lockdown defense. But what you've seen happen in the flow of Boston games really is that Boston comes alive in the second quarter. There's like a 15-point difference in what they score in the first half versus what they do in the second half. I do believe Boston can win this game by margin. The problem is that I just saw Sacramento lose by 9 points to Milwaukee. So it's really scary that that Boston's going to give you 10 and Sacramento was able to hang around with Milwaukee. So in my opinion, this is one of these games to where once again you're going to bet props. That's a good comment by Ray Charles there. Robert Williams double. This does seem like the type of game that will do it. I don't have any interest in this game because personally Boston should come out here and mop them. But you've just kind of seen them kind of play off and on to where they're losing first quarter, they're losing first half, and then have to step it up second half. And with Sacramento, I mean, I don't know what you're getting out of Domas, right? Maybe look at De'Aaron Fox props here. Is De'Aaron Fox even playing this game? He might be questionable. Yeah, he's questionable because of his hand. So it's just, to my opinion, I just feel like you're going to look at props or just take Boston full game.
Yeah, I don't. This isn't appealing. Road favorite at this number. It does not appeal to me. Let's go to the last game on the board. 10 p.m. Eastern. Chicago Bulls 41-28, 16-18 on the road at the Phoenix Suns. 56-14, 29-8 at home. We're at the Footprint Center in Phoenix, Arizona. Yeah. Chicago 2-3 over their past 5, 15th in pace at 99.30 possessions a game, while the Suns are 4-1, 11th in pace at 100.70 possessions a game. This Sun squad opened up as 6.5-point favorites. That drops to 5.5. This total goes from 229.5 up to 231. We go over to the cash flow here. The Bulls have 24% of the tickets, but 39% of the cash. And that makes sense to me. We were on the Raptors against Phoenix.
Yeah, we were.
Phoenix has no reason to take care of business here. Everything's locked up for them. Everything's taken care of. And when you play against a team that needs to win, like the Raptors did in that Suns game, and like the Bulls do here, I get why there's bigger bets being put on the Bulls, and I'm interested as well.
Do they need to win? Do you really feel that? They're sitting 5th right now. They're 2 games ahead of Cleveland. for the 6th spot, right? And then, your 3 games or, same amount for Toronto and Brooklyn. The problem that I have with Chicago is that stat. I think Astute Chaos, or was it, I forget, but they're like 0-17 against like top 3 teams. Yeah. There was another spot that came out about how bad Chicago plays against top 3 teams, right? They just can't beat them. And Brandon's like spot on here. This is a Phoenix spot, if you ask me. It really is. I don't care who they have out there. To their point about not being motivated, I think Phoenix really wants to make a statement. They want to tell you they belong in first place. They belong back in the Western Conference Finals, and they want to win outright. They want to win outright. So that's what it is. The Bulls can't beat. Jarrett says they can't beat good teams, and Phoenix is just a really good team right now. It goes to talk to about how good of leadership that Chris Paul has, to where he's having these guys play up, right? Even when he's not even on the court. So these guys, remember I was telling you even earlier how Phoenix, they play kind of like this Iron Man football, Iron Man kind of football mentality, to where they don't care if it's a back-to-back travel. They don't care. They're going to play their guys. But in my opinion, I believe this is a Phoenix spot. The number is short enough, even though the line has went down. I don't agree with the line movement. But this here is a Phoenix spot to where they can beat Chicago. You have Zach LaVine, who's probable, right? You have Jay Crowder, who's probably going to be an issue if he doesn't play. He's got a groin issue. But I'm telling you right now, Phoenix is deep and they're good. And Chicago does not beat good teams like this. So this would be a Phoenix look for me. Not official just yet, because I think Jay Crowder does make a difference, right? But this, to me, is back to Phoenix. Back to Phoenix. They lost against Toronto, right? But the Bulls, they just can't seem to get it together with really good squads. And so Phoenix should be able to get them done. As far as turning off the gas, I just don't think Phoenix does that. I honestly don't. I don't think they move that way. I think they got a lot to prove. I really do. They really feel they've got a chip on their shoulder. And so this is a Phoenix look for me. I'm not official. I might get there and add that later, but I do like Phoenix in this spot. The reason why I haven't pushed the button on it really is I want to see the injury news, right? And I want to see if there's any more movement in this line. But I don't see why Phoenix doesn't get this done by a lot. Chicago just doesn't seem to close out games. What has happened to DeMar DeRozan here in these last few weeks? He's not that closeout guy that he's been. So, yeah, it's Phoenix or nothing.
See, and you're right. Standings-wise, this isn't an imperative win, because I'm with Sammy B in the idea that the Cavs are slipping and, kind of barely getting to the finish line. But the Raptors, I expect to take the Bulls' spot. I expect the Raptors to be in that first spot. I don't know if that's where we want to be. I don't know if I'm playing the Celtics in the first round series would be extremely difficult. But Ellie, you can say it. We're just about to finish up. So, all right, now, hang for a second, my love. You've been very quiet, and I know it's very tricky. Okay, so here we go. I don't want to go up against you, but I think that the Bulls can keep this close enough. And I also think that there's no reason in the world to play Jay Crowder. Oh, it looks like somebody's got a question. All right, what is the...
So Brooklyn is Brooklyn Barbie.
Brooklyn Barbie, yeah.
I look like Brooklyn Barbie?
No.
Oh.
But she's saying that because we've been talking about the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh.
She hears us talking about Brooklyn Nets and she thinks of Brooklyn Barbie.
Okay.
Don't worry. Okay. Thank you for that, Ella. And I'll get that tip for you here in a second. So I do not want to go up against you, but I'm very interested in the Bulls here. I think they can keep this close, and I don't think Jay Crowder plays. And so when Jay Crowder's out, this line goes to what, 4? Is that too much?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if maybe if it's 5.5, right? It could go to 4.5. I don't know if he's worth. You're not going to get off the hook, right? You're not going to allow this game to be pushed. So maybe 4.5, maybe 4.5. I don't know, but with Crowder not playing, really hurts the wing defense, right? And really hurts that, that corner three. So, yeah, if he's not playing, then I would definitely be off the game. But Phoenix is just built different right now, man. They're built different and they're deep. And Vooch is going to give you a little bit of steam, right? You've got Caruso who's back, who can give you defense too. But this team Phoenix is too deep, bro. They're just too deep. So I think they can beat Chicago no problem. I think they can beat them no problem, beat them by margin, and get in and get out. I mean, they beat them by 3 points in February, so maybe that's what it is also why this line is so short. It was 127 to 124. Phoenix was away, right? So now they're at home. Is there any back-to-back action going on here? I don't see that as of now. Chicago plays on the 21st, and Phoenix plays on the 20th, right? So they're going to turn around and play on Sunday, right? But yeah, this one here just doesn't make sense. So I'm cool. I'm cool on
it. It was that stat that you were talking about, that you and the Stu were talking about, 0-14 versus top
0-14, man. 0-14. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
All right.
In both conferences. So it's not. Go ahead.
Let's review all action here. That was a really fun breakdown. These games are so fascinating. We love hearing you break them down, and your record's spectacular here on the show. Let's talk about everything here. Astute Chaos is on the first half over, but I don't have your actual bet there for some reason. He just says Dallas, Philadelphia high. I thought I had that somewhere. I know that's part of your parlay, I believe, but Darryl's on the first quarter -1 at -107, and I think that first half over makes sense in Mavs Philly. Then I do have some interest in the Knicks, and maybe I should let that go. And then we have that wildly interesting Raptors Lakers spot that I find absolutely fascinating, that I really want to be involved in. And Sammy's saying Phoenix is deep when healthy, which they aren't. So I'll help you in a second here, sweetheart. Stu Chaos is on Memphis, Atlanta, first half over 116.5. Rayhan Hyder's max bet is on Memphis -4.5. Oh, and you're on the first quarter over.
I'm on the first quarter over 58.5.
Yeah, and sorry, I didn't line chop for some reason. They're in that Nuggets spot. Let's just get that back. In that Memphis spot. Let's just get that back up here. The first
at -103. I think it was 103.
58.5. Yeah. Okay. Over 58.5. Yeah. No, that was one. That's that one I just didn't give because you got the Nugs first half at -103.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm interested in the Cavs full game, but I want a bigger number. This is tough because it feels like this basketball card is going to take a ton of more work for me here. Stu Chaos is on that Denver Cleveland first half over 115.5. He's parlaying it with the Memphis Atlanta first half over. Then Oklahoma Miami we're off. I want to go on the under in that Pacers Rockets game, but I'll see how high it goes. Darryl's on the Spurs first quarter, and I have many asterisks beside it because I want in.
This is the game you're going to see it get done.
I like it. I like the look, and I want in. Then we have Clippers, Jazz, Celtics, Kings that we're off, and I'm interested in the Bulls.
Interesting. I'm really not going to play it now.
I'm interested in the Bulls.
Yeah.
Very much. After that loss to Utah, where they just keep falling short, and this isn't about standings. This is like, are we really going to go into the playoffs just losing and losing and losing? I would, if I was the coach of this team, this would be extremely important for us to be able to play in this game. And I'm not saying that they win the game, but if you got to keep it close. 5.5, I think is a nice number. And you don't have Jake Crowder. Such a great.
That's huge. It is huge, right?
Player. But if he's in, then it blows up in my face. So
you better. If Jay Crowder doesn't play, honestly, I would look at campaign props. I would look at his props
for sure. Darryl, we love capping with you. Thank you so much for all your hard work, and you handle these enormously difficult big cards with such grace and skill. Thank you for your time. I can't wait to hang next time we see each other.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Anton.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
I guess that's not right actually, because Wednesday we'll be doing the show together.
Right. Okay.
So we have one more show.
How are we gonna do the show on Thursday or Friday?
Well, let's do them together, same beside each other.
Yeah, I think we are going to be faded. That's gonna be scary.
You know, that is right before the meet and greet. Yeah, I say we do it right beside each other.
Okay,
Just sitting
I'm
beside
with
each
it.
other.
I'm with it.
There he is, our guy, Darryl Rice. Follow him on Twitter at It's Darryl. Go get that cash. Great work. I love
Yeah.
capping with you. Any last words for the Capper supporting the show?
As always, man, y'all get out and enjoy the day. It's a beautiful day out here in Cali. Once again, happy Friday to you. Just love y'all in the chat, man. Y'all keep me on my toes. Jimmy, as always, you're beautiful, beautiful princess, man. Makes me happy. But Ella, I see you. You are absolutely beautiful. You are absolutely beautiful, and you have a great father.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. It's very kind of you to say, my man. Much love to you, and can't wait to party when we're in San Antonio together. He's going to be in San Antonio with Dada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you in San Antonio?
No. I'm in California. See, for the most part, Ella, San Antonio is terrible. Like, you don't want it, right? A lot of allergies. It's really dry and all that terrible crap. And they don't have really good rolled tacos, right? They have what you call taquitos, and it's with queso. No, California. I'm in California.
I love tacos.
Darryl, I'm not going to let Darryl get away with that slander of the tacos. That's a pull for me.
You pulled him. You pulled him from the show. Oh, man. God, he does not. No, come on. No, come on. Let's bring him back. Come
on, Jose. You did. Okay, I got Wham. Wham, tell the truth. Who has the better taco shops? It's definitely Cali. Roll tacos, solamente queso.
We love you, Darryl. Much love, my guy. And again, we rock together on Wednesday in different cities, and on Friday we sit together and cap the NBA card.
Yes, sir.
You want to say bye to my friend Darryl, and yours too.
Bye, sweetheart. Bye, sweetheart. Have a good day.
Bye, Jose.
And bye, everyone. Thank you so much for rolling with us today. It was probably our longest ever show, I think, Jose. And I'm taking
it absolutely is, and I have a snoring Helga beside me too.
Oh, nice.
It's nice. Like you have Ella, I've got Helga.
So let's just review all action here quickly. We have Babano on the Senators at -130, and I completely get that look, but I've stayed off it. Just give me a sec. We're just reviewing, and then we're done, Ella. We have Babano on Carolina regulation and the over 6 in Washington, Carolina. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play of the day is on Carolina. We have Babano on the over 6 in Boston, Winnipeg. I'm on Winnipeg +110. That moved to -110 by the time we were on our show, and right now it is at -110 still. Okay. I'm on the Jets. Back in the Winnipeg Jets here. No Bergeron lineup. Buffalo, Calgary, we are off. And then Florida, Anaheim, I'm off. And then I'm on the under 6.5 in Colorado, San Jose. 6.5 on Colorado, San Jose. Then in NCAA basketball, Jose Sehe play of the day is about to cash. And no surprise here. Very, very good capper. He is 54-41 Ohio State over Loyola Chicago. Great work, Jose. You went heads up with Babano. Why didn't you put a stake on it? There was your chance.
I'm retired from those. I'm retired for those, unfortunately.
Okay. It's when he bets with meat that he is less than. But when it's cash, more than.
That's accurate.
Babano's on the over 138.5 in Jacksonville, Auburn, and that's in jeopardy. I don't know. We'll check it out in a second. So that is in jeopardy, but that could still get there. We're sitting at 110, so he needs 29 points in 9 minutes. Not impossible, but the problem is that Jacksonville State's so far behind. Then we have Babano on Montana State +15. That's not in good shape here. We have please don't, sweetheart. We have the over 144 from Babano in Yale, Purdue. Nice start there. 43 points early. Then Delaware +15.5. Okay, I gotta get in on that. Has that changed? The market changed there? Oh, 15 now. Damn. Okay, I'm coming in on Delaware. That's going to be my first bet on today's card. I'm so thankful I stayed off of Loyola. That helps a great deal. What's up, my man?
I was going to say you were blurred, but now you're fine. But
okay.
Jimmy,
yes.
Next time that we'll be doing a show together, we'll be in person. How does that make you feel?
I'm excited. I'm excited for us to hang together, man. I've enjoyed working with you. You're an excellent producer and you have a ton of energy, and I can send you messages at any time of the day, any day of the week. And I know that you care so much about the show. I'm honored to work with you. You're a great producer. So when to have also that respect for you.
You don't say these nice things in person.
We've never been in person.
Private.
Never
in
been
private,
in person.
he just slanders me in private, guys. You guys don't know this. He just makes fun of me all the time in private. All this stuff is for show.
And Dennis Garcia says it right. Jose is a winning capper. Right there.
The haters are sick. The haters are sick. Wait until the spring training baseball bets start coming around.
Oh, I'm gonna wait because I could.
It's
care
gonna be
less
a good
about
time. Hey, Jim, what are we doing Tuesday?
Well, it's
a Loshak show.
Oh yes, Tuesday is all Peter Loshak all the time. Ooh. Maybe Ella will still make an appearance. Maybe it'll be Ella and Peter. But Notre Dame, I'm also going to move on. Yeah, Peter's not here right now, but he will be. Virginia Tech, Texas, I'm uncomfortable with. Babano's on the Mocs plus 8.5. That's another spot I'm uncomfortable with because Illinois lost to Indiana. CSU, Fullerton, Duke, he's off. Iowa State, LSU, off. He's on the over 156.5 in Wright State, Arizona. The taint play of the day is UAB plus 8.5. Babano got plus 9. Babano's on Davidson at plus 100. I do like the Davidson look. I think I'll move on the Davidson look. He's on Colgate plus 8. And then TCU, Seton Hall State off. I'm on the Tar Heels plus 5.5 tomorrow. And then in NBA, I've got a lot of work to do, so follow me on Twitter to see my action. All right, that was our longest show. My girlfriend, your mama is very angry about the length of these shows, and she's just about to walk in the door. On behalf of all of us, thank you so much here for rolling with us at Pub Sports Radio. We have no show without you guys. Rocky, Prince of the City, Henry JR says Texas has the best Mexican food in the U.S., says Henry. PG00187, R2D2 Finland, Dennis Garcia, CT Bays, Locke Bresner, Trotwam, Rants, Ryan Scahill, Jimmy Gomez, Rayhan Hyder says quit hating on my city, D. CT Bays once more, Jimmy Gomez. I love you guys. Vipe, Astute Chaos. Thank you for your support. On behalf of Jose, myself, Ella, and Mr. Jeff Slaughter, our leader, Leche. I'm going to give you a real Leche. Can you do a Leche for us?
So what the hell?
She's out, and she bounces. Leche. Hey, los bookmakers!